Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's late night Q&A with ZodWriter. And tonight is a very special night because tonight I have someone who I have basically loved and respected for a long time, and now I have him on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome Twisted Chris to Late Night Q&A. Welcome.
How's it going, man? I'm glad I'm finally here.
Dude, it is so awesome to have you here, dude. I was so excited since you agreed to do it. I got super hyped and I was like, man, we're gonna talk about all types of great stuff. And we've been and I mean, I've been like trying to. It's like, man, I don't know what it is lately, but I've been commenting on all your videos like within like the last couple of months. Because there's something about the content that you're putting out that just like speaks to me, like every video. And I'm genuinely even more excited now that, that you and I are getting to know each other and are becoming friends. And that to me is super cool, and even more, even better than anything else. But bro, before we start, I gotta mention the elephant in the room. I gotta bring it up. Dude, what's the deal with your theme music? I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, you mean the Game On?
Game On, bro.
Yeah.
Is there a story with that? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, it's a song I found on one of those royal free websites. So I basically purchased the song. Now, if you want to hear the song, it's on iTunes and everything too.
Bro, I have it on my playlist on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
I listen to it all the time.
Yeah, it's by the artist named Roof.
Yes.
Called It's Game On. Yeah.
Game On.
And she does a lot of different other songs too. That's a banger. But what I liked about the song is it's a gaming channel, and it says it's Game On, and it's just a beautiful song, and it just really pops. So yeah,
it is a beautiful song. And I believe I believe the line is, when the sun kisses the clouds, it's game on. I believe that's the line. But I'm gonna tell you something funny. For the longest time, I thought the line in the song was, when the circus is the clowns.
That's what I thought that was too.
Now, I thought that's what it was at first, and I loved that. And I thought that fit you so well. I was like, wow, dude.
Yes, the circus or something in the clouds.
This is the clowns. The clowns. Like the circus and the clowns are like one, that it's all a big joke. Like that's what I thought it was for like forever. And then I got the lyrics and actually listened to the song, and then it made sense. And I was like, oh, I was wrong. But still,
yeah,
I've got the song on my playlist, and it's literally at the top of the list. And I'm like, it's one of those songs that because of your channel, I have to listen to it all the time, because it's just an awesome tune. It's a beautiful song, and you picked a good one, man. Like,
yeah. I have people hitting me up all the time wanting to know the name of it, so I let them know. But yeah, it just fits the channel. And whenever I came across that song, I just never stopped using it. It's too good.
And Papa Brad's Gaming says, thanks for watching the Arcadians and being so cool in the chat. Arcadians is a fun show.
Yeah, I try to watch everybody's show, but there's so many shows now that because I watched Put Your Quarters on the Glass a while ago. He had an interview, and I was going to tell you about it. Any of these viewers that you watch that like Hollywood or anything, you need to go to the YouTube channel, Put Your Quarters on the Glass.
Yes.
Rev 5 interview Jonathan Joss, which he's an actor or whatever. It's been, in a lot of pretty much things. It was a great interview though. So might want to go check that out. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. Put your quarters on the glass is definitely an awesome. Is definitely an awesome site. Uh, I think it's great. We've got that dude Vince in the house. He says made it. Also made it to work with all the snow. 10 out of 30 people made it. Yeah, the snow is plaguing everywhere. It is crazy. I couldn't even open my door this morning. There was so much snow.
Wow.
And I'm in
How much? How
Illinois.
many inches did you get?
I don't even know, dude. I just know that I wasn't going out. That's all I knew.
What state are you in?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, okay. See, I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So we probably got maybe 1.5 inches where I am, but it's real pretty out there. But
Yeah.
we don't see it much here.
Yeah, I figure in Texas you don't get much. So when you do get snow, it's kind of a funny experience, huh?
Oh yeah.
Trying to drive in it and stuff. But it's good that you guys don't get a whole lot, because out here where I am, we get it a lot, and it piles on, and we get, we've had situations where we've had, 20, we've had 20, 40 feet of snow. Like it's crazy. It gets,
I
it
wish
gets
I could
crazy
have
here
that at least one
sometimes.
day here.
If you got that for one day there, it would probably shut everything down. You wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
Well, like last year around this time when we got it in Texas, we got so much that I lost power at my house for 4 days, and I had to go stay at my mom's house, but she's only about a mile away. But it was wild. It was really bad. But Texas, we're not built to do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And we got Sharon Peters here. She says, "Hey, girlfriend, it's always good to see Sharon Peters in the chat."
Boy, she makes it, don't she? Wow.
I absolutely love Sharon Peters. She's a welcome addition of these streams every single week, because she brings so much fun and levity to the chat, and nobody really knows who she is. And one of these days, Sharon, if you ever want to get on late night Q&A, just hit me up. We'll bring you on, and we'll have some fun. Sickness is like, Zod, what's up, bro? Good to see you, Sickness. Jesse Allen, hashtag release the air cut. Good to see you, man. How you doing, Jesse? And Akuma Rev says, much love, my dude. And Zod, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you too, man. Hope all is going well with you guys, man. I know lately there's been some things happening within the community, and I'm just hoping that everybody can get along and find peace and find common ground, and that's all I'll really say about that. But that dude Vince says, I'm around St. Louis. We got over a foot.
Wow.
And Papa Brad's Gaming says, hello, Rev. Tell New thank you. All right, Papa Brad. And yeah, this is shaping up to be cool. I'm so glad there's so many people here in the chat tonight. Wow, what a great live chat here. I got a loud old computer running in the background that I got to shut down because it sounds like a really bad air conditioner.
Kind of like a PS4. When it sounds real loud,
like an old PS4 or something.
Take your time, man. I got all night.
I'm just trying to see if I can unplug it because it's not allowing me to shut it down from a. God, the fan fell off and everything. What a piece of crap, dude! I literally was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna shut this down. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll handle it. For a second, I thought maybe it was the computer I'm using, because I have an old computer that I was using for everything, and then I spilt soda on it on the where the display port is. So I had to. So my display port is all wonky, and when I try to use the computer and I try to go to it and try to turn it on, it looks like the Matrix. when you're trying to like do anything, because it freezes up and locks after every like click you try to do. So I basically ended up I ended up using, I'm using right now, I'm actually using a mini PC called a Chewy Lark box. And it's really small. It's like the size of a tiny little cube. And you can actually mount it to like the back of a monitor or a TV or something because it's really, really small. But it's like, and it was like cheap. It was like a little $100, like little, and I'm amazed because it's a Windows, 10 PC, and I'm able to do everything, that I was able to do on my old computer. And I was like, well, I was having trouble because I was trying that new thing that everybody was doing, like Fightcade. And I was having all kinds of lag and all kinds of issues, and I couldn't get it to work to save my life. So I started using the mini PC for that too. And things are working a little bit better. But since I brought up Fightcade, let's talk a little bit about Fightcade. What's your opinion on that, Twisted Chris? I mean, what do you think about it? Is that you think it's a good thing for the community, or?
I've seen a couple of videos on it, and it looks very interesting. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I'm going to in the next few days to check it out myself. But it looks pretty sweet. I like what I'm seeing on there. So,
and Third Floor Arcade with Jason. What's up, Jason? He says, I'm on the Big Blue right now, and it's a ghost town. Well, I'm not surprised.
That's a true story because I had my Big Blue on all day, right? Because, I'm having a tournament tomorrow on Put Your Quarters on the Glass, and I was going to fight some people online, and no practice there. It was dead. So, dang it. But I want to say on the weekends, it's probably the most busiest on those.
Oh yeah, because people are people are off of work, they have more time to devote to it, and they can do what they want to do and have fun and use it what it was invented for. But the question,
but people need to understand though that it's not a PlayStation. You don't got 20, 30 million people that have one, right? So there's 10 or 15,000 people online all the time. You know what I mean? They haven't sold 20 millions of these, so it's going to be hard to link up with people.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing, and I could compare that just for an example because we're going to talk a lot about Killer Instinct tonight. And one of the things that I noticed is like when I've got Xbox Game Pass, which I play online. I don't have an Xbox, so I play it online where you can play via the cloud.
Oh,
okay. Play it through my computer, and I got an Xbox controller that I use, and whenever I go on there to play Killer Instinct 2013, the newer version, I have no problem finding opponents. Yeah. No matter what time of day it is, no matter what time of night it is, there's always somebody there. So to your point, that's exactly what it means. The Arcade 1-Up doesn't have the kind of penetration that a PlayStation or an Xbox ecosystem will have. And that's also going to be a problem when iArcade finally goes online and, you're able to have matches and stuff through some of their games through multiplayer. You're going to have a lot of the same issues where finding people to play isn't going to necessarily be easy because you've only got a small pool of people. When you think of the penetration that these machines have received.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that own the Arcade 1-Ups, but they don't play online. They just play against the computer and for a few matches, enjoy themselves and leave.
And that's the thing too. That's a great thing that you just brought up right now, because you reminded me of SpectatorGate. And I remember there was all this controversy. It happened not too long ago. I mean, time moves awfully quickly. And this is actually fairly, in the old days, this would be considered a fairly recent event. But the way things move now in terms of time, seems like it was an eternity ago. And SpectatorGate, to me, it's hard because you look at these arcade machines, you look at these Arcade 1-Up machines, and the biggest draw that they have now is that they can go online and you can play against other people, because people are stuck in their houses. People aren't going out, various reasons, the real world situations we're living through, the bad weather, all the things that are happening now. You want that arcade experience. You want to play against other people. So people are willing to fork over these big amounts of money for these substandard cabinets that essentially, you're only going to play when you play online, or, like you said, there's people that just don't care about online anyway and are just happy to have the game.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
But with Fightcade now, there's literally thousands and thousands of fight games in various types of arcade games that you can play online multiplayer. You just have to have a decent enough PC to run it,
yeah.
along with a fairly decent internet connection. And as long as you have those two things, I mean, you can go on and you can play Mortal Kombat to your heart's content. You can play all the Street Fighters. You can play the Neo Geo stuff. Theoretically, you could take like a mini PC like the one I'm on right now and put it into one of these arcade cabinets, connect it to an arcade cabinet, connect it to Fightcade, and literally have an online capable fighting PC that will allow you to play multiplayer on an arcade, on a multicade.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even know that Fightcade has been around for a while.
I know.
Honestly,
if it wasn't for B Kong's video, I wouldn't have known either. I was like, wow, really?
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, me either. It's been around for I think a couple of years now.
Wow.
I don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think it's pretty neat though. I mean, I bet you could even somehow mod an arcade one up to run it.
Well, yeah. Have you seen? There's been various PC, things that people have been working on in the community. There's that whole PCB you can send away for that will replace your. But how long before that happens? Where I read an article today, and I forget where the article came from, but it actually was an article talking about how easy it is to hack an arcade one-up countercade, where you can actually, I guess, go into the actual programming of the countercade and delete it all together and start fresh and put whatever you want on it, essentially like a Raspberry Pi. And they're saying that it's better. It's like a good alternative to a Raspberry Pi because of chip shortages and stuff. Raspberry Pis are hard to come by now. So if you can get a deal on one of these countercades, you can essentially turn that countercade into a multicade and do whatever you want, because I guess the Linux programming is kind of, I don't know. The Linux programming is kind of easy to hack and easy to get over. So I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if that's going to become a thing in the community. I was just wondering about it. And Sharon Peters says, Zod said penetration. He must have porn on his mind. No, man, I got Twisted Chris here right now. I don't have porn on my mind, man. We're hanging out talking about all this good stuff. Let's see. Penetration is the word of the week. I guess I've been hearing streamers talking about it too. Okay. Well, I guess, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talking about penetration, but I don't have a Raspberry Pi, but I do have a shaved one. All right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for that.
I bet you do.
Thanks
for letting us know.
Information.
We like you more now.
Oh my God. Sharon is hilarious. Girl. Sharon is hilarious.
But no, back to the multicade stuff. If people want something, they're gonna figure out how to hack it and make it the way they want. I mean, there's people hacking stuff all the time and making all kinds of creative stuff. So who knows what'll be next? You know what I mean?
I agree. It's weird because, but that's where I have to ask. I have to wonder, are we getting to a point, because there's all these ideas? And one of the things I asked, I don't remember if it was in like a put your quarters in the glass or one of the chats, but I said, are we done buying expensive cabinets now, because you have the ability to play online with this Fightcade thing now, because everybody seems to be in love with Fightcade. So if you could go on Fightcade and you can play Marvel versus Capcom 2, are you going to be enthusiastic to fork over however much money Arcade 1-Up is going to charge when they finally put out a Marvel versus Capcom 2 cabinet?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I think Fightcade's free, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, and with the version that is out now, and with the tutorial that Kongs R Us put out, you can literally have it set up where you don't even have to have the games on your system. You just log into it, and there's a script contained within it that you, after you follow the instructions that Kong provided, there's a script that will download the ROM for you, and you'll automatically be able to go in within moments. You configure your controller and you're good to go. Yeah. I mean, it's really quite a fascinating thing. And the fact that it's just, I wonder if it's gonna be detrimental to Arcade 1-Up's business model at this point, because their whole draw for a lot of these games is now, yeah, you've got 10 million ways to play these games, but you can only play online if you get our cabinet.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I think about is, the Arcade 1-Up community and stuff, they've sold 2 million, 3 million cabinets, whatever it is, right? Out of those 3 million people, though, I really think, though, there's a small percentage that follows all these YouTube channels that are on the put your quarters on the glass. Say they sell 3 million cabinets, right? Let's say if they sold 3 million Big Blue cabinets, right? I guarantee there's probably only 1,000 or 2,000 people that are actually, are on the, watching all the YouTube stuff and this and that. Because a lot of these, I think they're being sold when they see them in a store and somebody's like, oh my gosh, I remember that game back in the day. That looks pretty cool. I can have the Street Fighter at my home, right? And they know nothing about people that have the YouTube content and all that. So personally, I don't think Fightcade's gonna really put a dent in Arcade 1-Up. They're too big now. You know what I mean?
Oh, Arcade. Yeah.
I mean, they're the king of home arcades.
They're the king of home arcades. That's the truth. And again, for me, my experience with Fightcade hasn't been as good as everybody else's. I mean, I get lag, I get issues. I'm not, I'm not having fun with Fightcade the way everybody else is, but I'm seeing the way the community is responding to it, and seeing the way people seem to love it, and how, Rev has now made it a part of put your quarters on the glass, and it's kind of becoming it's going to become a staple, I think, in the home arcade community, and that means that it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Now, I personally, it's
I think Rev doing, like, if he decides to put Fightcade, on this channel too, I think it's awesome, but I really don't think he'll do it 100%. I think he'll still include, the Arcade 1-Up stuff, and he might just have a mixture of it here and there. We'll see.
Well, my question is now then, is it time for Arcade 1-Up to go the full multicade route? I mean, the full multicade route where, most of your stuff is available online, and you have a more cost-effective solution now that there are other options to play some of these games online.
Well, I don't know, because if you think about it, multicades have been around forever. I mean, I have a multicade. I have a Rec Room Masters. Of course, that
Beautiful. I wish that
Yeah.
company was still in business.
I know, it made me sad because I was gonna buy
I
another
always
one.
wanted one. I always wanted one from them, and they went out of business before I got a chance to get one.
Yeah,
From them.
they had tons of orders. The thing that killed the business is they couldn't get materials in, all the, you know, the products to make them. So, I mean, if you sold, you know, 500 cabinets, but only, you know, 20 parts for cabinets came in, your business is done. That's what killed them. They couldn't get stuff fast enough in.
You know, one thing that I've learned, and this is trial and error with a lot of these independent multicade companies that make the custom stuff online. A lot of these companies are scams. A lot of them are. Unfortunately, there's so many out there that you order something from them and you either do not get it or it takes forever to get it. And then when you finally do get it, it's broken. And none of these companies have any customer service to speak of. So you can't reach anybody when you get something that's not right, or if you finally do, it's complicated because now you're dealing with real shoddy customer service. So the only thing at that point you can do is go through your bank and get your money back, because essentially you're screwed. Yeah. So when you have companies like that, it makes places like, it makes Arcade One Up, it makes At Games, it makes even iArcade, it makes these companies look great because you get your stuff and they have customer service, and they will help you. They do care about their customers. And then you have independent creators like the great Bobby Vu.
Yeah.
This is a man who I can never say enough good things about. I love Bobby so much. Yeah. He is a wonderful person. He has like the biggest heart in the community of anybody I've ever seen. And the man will do anything for you. He will give you the shirt off of his back if he thinks he can help you. He's incredible. Like, and again, he does such quality work, as you can attest to, because when I saw your video about the deck, the control deck he did for your Big Blue, I was geeking out like a little schoolgirl, bro. I was like, "Wow, look at this!" Ah! Oh, it was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty, man.
Yeah, he still has my KI, so he's still working on
it's
that.
It's gonna be worth it though. You already know when you get that KI, it's gonna be the same experience as when you play it on your regular. You play it on your regular machine, and you're one of those people that has it has the original KI and you have the Arcade One Up KI. So you know the difference, and that's pretty awesome. Sharon Peters says, can we talk about Console Fanboy's amazing rap? Well, one thing I'll say about Console Fanboy is he is very talented musically. He definitely comes out with some catchy little tunes and jingles. I love it. I love all of that stuff. It's fantastic. I especially like, I don't think we really need to talk about the rap, Sharon Peters, but we need to talk about the love song that he made for Miss Click, because I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a pretty good song.
That was a really, he literally, it had the sound of like,
the editing was good, the video was good.
And he had the sound, it had the sound of like of the 1990s, of like the 90s R&B feel. Like it felt really authentic, and that's one of the main things I loved about it. Papa Brad's Gaming says, we have more freedom now than ever with our home arcade choices. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the Fightcade. Yeah.
So many options. But me personally, because Fightcade isn't working very well for me, I'm looking forward to the Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary, because I know that cabinet will be great, and I'll be able to play online in the way that I enjoy Mortal Kombat. So that's what I'm looking forward to more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get that one too, just for the hell of it.
Oh, I can't wait. Wait.
I'm still trying to find me original Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 arcade machine too, since I already got Ultimate. I just want the other two just to have them in a row. You know what I mean?
So have you decided where you're gonna how you're gonna structure all that? Because you got a lot.
I
Like
got a lot of shit.
I get, well, you know, it's like I look at your setup and like all the like the videos and stuff you're doing, and your setup reminds me of an old like video game store I used to go to
That's
back
what
in
it's
the
supposed to
day.
look like. Yeah.
It has that authentic retro feel. Like I used to go to this store. There was a retro game store, and it was retro back when I used to go. It was a small place. It was like by my grandmother's house. I used to go there, and there would be like they would have everything. They would have like Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast. They would have Nintendo, and they would have classic stuff. And their Sega Saturn stuff. At that point in time, I had like this Sega Saturn fetish. Yes, I said fetish for you, Sharon Peters. Um, I was really into collecting Sega Saturn games at the time, but every time I'd go to that import store, every game I wanted for Sega Saturn was so expensive because I would always gravitate towards imports and stuff. But your environment of Twisted Gaming reminds me so much of that store I used to go to. I wish I had pictures of that store so I could show you what I was talking about, because it's almost exact to how you have yourself, even with like the Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, you know, advertisements, cardboards in the backgrounds and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, like this one right here. Yeah, this one actually came from, I want to say, United Kingdom.
Oh wow.
But I bought it a few years ago for like $170, I think. But that thing's worth like I think it's worth about $700-800 now. That one right there. So
I kind of feel like if you were ever in a situation where you needed the money, you could offload a bunch of little stuff and never even make a dent in your actual collection.
Yeah, there's actually a few things I've sold. I mean, what's the crazy thing is I don't know if you know much info about like graded games or anything.
I always thought the graded games thing was a scam, to be honest with you.
In a way it is, but you know, I got some of my games graded just because, you know, I was just curious, and they were sealed, and, you know, to protect the stuff, right? I didn't know later on they would be, you know, it would shoot up from hell, because there's some games I've sold that were PlayStation 2 games graded that I had $4,000, $6,000, $2,000, $1,500. I sold that shit. I didn't even have the money into that. So I was like, and you know, I'm not missing it either. So, but yes, it's a scam. Pretty much, I mean,
when I saw some article about some astronomical price that somebody paid for a brand new in-box copy of Super Mario Brothers, and
yeah, it was like $1 million or something.
That's ridiculous.
I know, but let me tell you a little story, okay? So some of the games I had graded, I had about 15 of them, right? And you know, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas for the PlayStation 2, right? I had a graded. Yeah, I had a graded copy of those, sealed copy and everything, right? I had probably $90 in it. I sold that shit for 3 G's. It's stupid. It's stupid.
But that right there, Chris, is the reason you do it. Because something is only as valuable as what people are willing to pay for it. So in that instance, you hit the jackpot. It's worth it to you. It's like, hey, yeah, I want my 3 Gs. That's perfectly fine.
And see, and you remember the game The Warriors on PlayStation 2 off the movie? Yeah. I have 3 graded copies of that. I just sold one for $1,200. I had $90 in it. It's stupid. Now, would I pay that much for that? Hell no.
Go to like a flea market and find a sealed copy of Warriors for $1 or $2, get it graded, and turn around and sell it for $1,200.
Now,
wow.
I'll give you another point of view. Twisted Metal Black, you know that game, right? PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Same thing. I had a sealed graded copy. had about 150 bucks in it. Sold it for $4,000. Okay, so the way I look at it is I'm going to have this stupid game, right, on a shelf. Or should I sell it for that much? And guess what it paid for? My original NBA Jam arcade plus money left over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go. You buy you got your original NBA Jam, and you got to go out for pizza and have a steak the next day. You were all good. It was perfect. I mean,
so who cares?
And the third floor arcade with Jason says, ZodWriter, what's your all-time favorite fighting game? Jason, that is the original Mortal Kombat without question. I am a die-hard Mortal Kombat 1 fan. I love that game. I've got 3 variants of the Mortal Kombat 1 cabinet in my small apartment, and I'm gonna get a 4th, which is the arcade 1-up, so I can play online. Sharon Peters says it was great, responding to Console Fanboy about his rap. And let's see, what do we got here? So that song was damn good. Okay, I think you're talking about the rap song. Cool. I'm so glad to see all you guys here in the chat. This is awesome. And obviously, Twisted Chris, I would ask you what your favorite fighting game of all time is, but I think I already know the answer, as everybody should already know the answer if they follow you.
Honestly, it's a tie. Okay. It is Killer Instinct, the first one. But my second favorite is Mortal Kombat 2. It's just the history of it. You know, how much I played it in the arcades. I think it was just a good childhood memory.
That's how I feel about Mortal Kombat 1. I loved playing it. It was it was the game that changed video games for me. And and the thing was, even when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, I thought Mortal Kombat 2 is a great game.
Yeah.
But I just didn't gravitate to it the way I did Mortal Kombat 1. Over time, as I got older, my appreciation for Mortal Kombat 1 just continued to grow. And I never even, for Mortal Kombat 3, I was completely, I don't know. I was going through different things during Mortal Kombat 3. I honestly can say that I maybe back in the day maybe played Mortal Kombat 3 a handful of times. I never really gravitated towards it. But
yeah, and see, everybody's different, because I mean, there's a lot of people that say Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is the best MK of all time. We all like our different.
Yeah,
you know,
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was fun. I agree. I think it was cool. I always loved the fact that they added, more characters and stuff, and tried to make it more balanced. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd even say it was better than Mortal Kombat 3, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Mortal Kombat 3 was fun, but
yeah, Ultimate, it changed a few things. It took a few fighting levels on it away, and a few other things they adjusted, but it wasn't that big of an update.
Yeah. And I also think that it's really cool, because you were talking about the ROMs you got that were for Mortal Kombat 2 Plus, which they're working on, which I've been following that website, and they're working on Mortal Kombat 1 Plus.
Yep.
Which I'm super excited about, because I'm the huge Mortal Kombat 1 fan. So I gotta ask you, what's the best part of Mortal Kombat 2 Plus, in your opinion?
Oh man, well,
being
I haven't
the big Mortal Kombat 2 fan that you are.
I haven't really tested that one out as much as I did on part 3. So I can't really say, but I know they've added a lot of different things where, like, when you do a combo, it actually shows it on the screen, when it never did that in the arcades before, which is pretty dope.
That's
because
cool.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, when you do combos and it shows it on the screen, kind of like Killer Instinct. Well, they added it to Mortal Kombat 2 Plus, so it does it now. There's a lot of different things, but like the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, there is so much.
Are there more characters too?
Yes, on the display screen, You can go in the options or whatever, and you can go classic, or you can go, I think they call it expanded. So
Okay.
you can play, who is it that's available? I think it's Rain and somebody else that wasn't on the arcade. You could select. Not really sure, but see, they corrected a lot of things. They corrected a lot of sounds. They, stuff that was broken in the game is fixed. I mean, if you go on their website and you just read all the crap that they fixed on Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, it's crazy, man. There's so much stuff.
Wow. Yeah,
Hundreds.
I'm I'm super excited to check it all out. I'm gonna because you can download it. You can
Yep.
download the stuff and play it on MAME, which is cool.
Yep.
But I'm like super excited for people like you and Retro Ralph who are able to get the ROMs because you have the actual machines and you
Yeah.
can, the originals, and you can test this stuff out the way it's actually meant to be played. And so for you, it's got to be a completely new and rewarding experience.
Oh yeah. And another thing with my arcades, I could tell you right now, if I didn't want to play any of these arcades, my originals for a year, I wouldn't care. That's not the point. What I care about is I have them and it's a part of history that I can look over there and say, oh shit, I own original Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 or a Cruising USA. You know what I mean?
So
Uh,
it's almost like it's like an art piece for you.
Yeah.
As much as it is a game you love to play, it's
Yes.
also something that you're very proud to display in your
Oh
place,
yeah.
and something that that's very sentimental to you and you're glad to have. And that's great. And that's a wonderful thing. And that's why I have three
Yeah.
variants of Mortal Kombat 1, because I love that cabinet so much. And all three of them are different. They're all variants of Mortal Kombat 1, but they're multicades and they're different, and I say to myself, yeah, I love that cabinet. I love that cabinet design. That's the thing that I'm into. But like, you being I and I'm probably not alone in saying this. You're probably one of, if not one of the biggest Killer Instinct fans in the world. And and when I see your love for Killer Instinct, and I see all the things that you've said about Killer Instinct and all the videos you've done, it got me more into playing Killer Instinct. I can
Yeah.
honestly say, because I had never been any good at Killer
Mm.
Instinct back in the day. And it's not that I didn't like the game and didn't think it was cool. I just sucked at it.
Yeah.
So I was not one of those people that was like ready to jump on the bandwagon and get a Killer Instinct arcade 1-up machine. And then I started, there's a whole website for those out there devoted to Killer Instinct, where you can literally download a package that is the entire game with the proper emulator to run the game, that you can virtually run on any machine, any PC that's capable of running arcade games. And essentially they give you the version of the ROMs that you need, everything that you need. They give you the version of MAME that you need to run it, and you can run it and it doesn't stutter. It doesn't have any issues. You can connect the controller to it. You can connect a fight stick to it. So that's how I've been playing Killer
Very
Instinct.
nice.
And
That's awesome.
I enjoy it because I'm learning new moves, and I'm trying to, get decent at it, because if I ever do get into a situation where I do want to play Killer Instinct online, or get to a point that I'm going to have a cab someday, then I want to actually be good and be able to compete. And as of right now, I'm way better on the Xbox version of Killer Instinct than I am on the classic version.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more of a learning curve compared to, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, because if you don't really know what you're doing, then you're probably gonna get murdered by their computer.
Yeah, it's hard, but one of the things that I really love Killer Instinct wise, that I would say is just as cool and compelling to me as the arcade version, is there's a group out there of programmers who
Mhm.
went back and restored the Super Nintendo version of Killer Instinct to an arcade accurate version of the game. So they put back in all the animations and stuff that were taken out of the Super Nintendo version. They re-added in sprites. They put in correct music. They've got the correct opening with the coming to your home in 1995 for the Ultra 64. That's in there. Everything. I mean, they made even the intros with the little intro videos with Combo and Orchid and everybody all done. It's all in there, and it's Chris, it is fantastic. They added they added like the move sets back, and I would go as far as to say it's even more balanced than the arcade version, because they took the Super Nintendo version and all they did was add back in everything that was in the arcade version that had to be taken out, because I guess because of cartridge size or whatever. But it is, I have to admit, it is fantastic. I mean, it's to me, it's just as good, if not even slightly a little bit better than the arcade version, because now you can do everything, and you're playing it through Super Nintendo emulation.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot more technology now than we did back in the day, you know. Because remember when we had computers back in the day, we had floppy disks. And you could hold like 20 pictures maybe or something.
It was terrible. And Third Floor Arcade with Jason says, man, I wish I could get one of those to die for big blue decks. You can. All you got to do is contact Bobby. You'll go on the waiting list, but Bobby will do it. Bobby's a master. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Bobby Vu is like the guru of. I will say this: these arcade companies, At Games, Arcade 1UP, iArcade. I'm surprised, and I'm going to say this now, that none of them have offered Bobby Vu a job. I'm just saying, because Bobby is so brilliant. He'll take your company into the stratosphere with all the
come up with some good
ideas that this guy has. Yeah, I mean, like what he just did not too long ago for the iArcade. How he came up with that idea of using the tablet with the Bluetooth and being able to take advantage of the speakers and all the cool options on there. I mean, Bobby has a brilliant mind for these kinds of things, and I just think that somebody, you would think that one of these companies would be like, God, this guy, we gotta get this guy on board.
Yeah, put him on as their design team.
Yeah, for real. I think it would be game over if he got on, because I think if he were, like, for example, if Bobby were to join Arcade 1UP, I think it would be over, because I think he would take Arcade 1UP to the next level. Same with any of these other companies, At Games or iArcade. iArcade, you need a good designer. Look no further than Bobby. Look what Bobby did for you for free.
Yeah,
look what he came up with.
And he got the waiting list from hell too. I think last time I talked with him, that he had like 65 people on the waiting list. So he has to make 65 decks. And he doesn't use any machines. He doesn't have a CNC machine. It's all by hand.
He creates it all by hand.
And then sends you 100 pictures throughout the whole day of each step he's doing.
All in his mind. It's so fantastic. Yeah. And Papa Brad's Gaming. What's up, Papa Brad? He says Bobby Vu is a great guy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Sharon Peters says, yes, Console Fanboy is the R. Kelly of the retro game community, minus him peeing on underage girls. We love you, Console Fanboy. And Console Fanboy says, oh, man, Sharon, thanks. Thank you, Zod, so much. No, man, thank you, man. You've given everybody so many great hours of entertainment with your videos. Even people that disagree with you can't say that your videos aren't entertaining. It's incredible. And like with Bobby, I actually thought about it. I actually thought about this for a minute, Chris. I was like, maybe I should ask Bobby if he'll build me a Killer Instinct countercade. But I was like, I was like, the waiting list is so long right now. I don't want to do that to Bobby. I don't want to be like, Bobby, put me on the list for that. Like,
there's probably 100 people by now.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not. I won't do that. Maybe sometime in the future, I might go to Bobby about that though, because he built me a Mortal Kombat bar top, an MK1 bar top that is just so fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't. That's why I say when you get your Killer Instinct deck, it's going to be a whole nother level of butt kicking from Twisted Gaming TV, because it's going to be just like your regular arcade experience.
Yeah, just smaller. I can actually lift it up.
And the Cybermind Arcade, welcome. He says, I totally thought you had a shop. Yeah,
a lot of people think my game room, like when I show the store looking part, they think it's actually a store. It's pretty funny.
And this is a serious question from Sharon Peters. Whenever we get a serious question from Sharon, we have to highlight it. And Sharon asks, serious question, guys, do you ever find yourself completely nude eating a Pop-Tart while playing your arcade machines? I've actually done that, Sharon. I've actually done that.
I haven't tried that yet, but
full disclosure, I've actually done that before, Sharon.
That's funny.
The third floor arcade with Jason says Chris's game room is sick. It definitely is, and Jason, yours is sick as well. His is.
I love his YouTube channel.
Wow, yeah, I know.
I like his reviews. I like his. Yeah. I like it.
Jason is so. What I love about Jason is that he's so positive
and genuine,
and he gives his feelings a lot like you, Chris. You give your feelings, and you don't care one way or the other what anybody thinks. It is what it is. It's the truth or nothing, and that's what I love. And that's how I try to do it too. It's the truth or nothing. You don't. You don't need to be, an a-hole. You just tell the truth and you be as genuine as possible, and people will follow you. People will gravitate to you when you're real. When you're fake and you don't offer anything but manufactured viewpoints and BS, or you're kissing the butt of the company that you're reviewing the product for. Too many people do that. And that's why nobody watches their content.
Another thing that wears me out about, and this is a lot of YouTubers that do this, but I don't do it on mine, is before their damn video even starts. Hey guys, before we start this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and blah, blah, blah. I don't do that.
I never say that. Never say that.
At the end of my video, if you make me do it, I say, thank you for watching Twisted Gaming TV. Please comment, like, and subscribe at the very end. I don't ever say that bullshit.
I follow the Twisted Gaming method myself, where I've said this before. I've said this to people because people come at me, and they come at me hard when they disagree with me. And I say this: I don't care if you subscribe to me. I don't care if you give me a like. I don't care if you give me a dislike. I don't care if you unsubscribe. Who cares?
Yeah.
If you care about what I have to say, you're gonna watch my content regardless,
and they'll subscribe with you,
and you're gonna subscribe too.
Yeah.
And you're gonna and it's not because you're always gonna agree with me, but it's because you're gonna want to hear what I have to say. And it's the same with you, Chris. If people disagree with you, they're still gonna watch you because they want to know what you're gonna say next.
Yeah, and another thing, people get into a part where all they care about is views and subs.
Yeah,
and that's when it's no fun no more. No, because then it's just like it becomes a job like work, right?
Like work.
Like I'm not going to release a video every damn day. Okay, now 1 week I might release maybe 3 videos.
Like I think your Killer Instinct review week was like one of your biggest weeks on your channel, because you had all these videos you were pumping out.
Yeah, and I had to do that because they were different subjects on
streams,
but after it was over, it was done. On to the next.
And my good friend Rhea, whom I love dearly. Rhea's awesome. I've streamed with her a bunch of times. Rhea's like, hey, y'all, have a good stream, Zod and friends, good vibes. Thank you, Rhea. Always a pleasure seeing you. Thank you so much for being here. And Sharon Peters says, penetration and fetish are my two favorite words.
I would love to meet her in person.
Okay, Sharon. Okay, Sharon. A question for you. What's your safe word? I gotta know. What's your safe word, Sharon? She's been so forthright and open about everything. What's your safe word? We got Cybermind Arcade saying my store was software, etc., and is perfectly captured in the 90s movie Ghost in the Machine. You know, I used to love software, etc., and it software, etc., Babbage's Electronics Boutique, Funco Land. Yes, I remember those shops.
I miss
those places not being around anymore is a detriment to society. GameStop messed it up for everybody. I'm just saying.
And just like Blockbuster not being around. Man, so much excitement back in the days. Gosh.
But Blockbuster was huge. And what I always hated about Blockbuster was how they basically came in strong-armed and pushed all the mom and pops out. And then they ended up not surviving. I think there's
what killed them, left. Right? When Netflix came to them and said, "Hey, we got a proposition." They were going to work a deal with Blockbuster, and Blockbuster said, "We're bigger than you. Screw you, buddy." Yeah. And who's the biggest of them all now? Netflix.
They're king of the mound. And see, the problem was Netflix was forward thinking, and Blockbuster was stuck in their ways. Yep. And that's a problem. Like, you've got to have forward thinking. You got to be able to think 2 steps ahead. Otherwise, you're gonna get left behind. And so it's easy when you're on top, like Blockbuster was, to say, well, no, screw you. We're gonna do our own thing because you're already the king. But you could get dethroned very, very easily. And they weren't taking into account that streaming was about to hit and things were. I mean, I feel bad, for a minute I felt bad for him, but then I didn't feel bad for him because I realized they were just stupid. And
they just did it to themselves,
Stupidity, it's like you do it to yourself. So what are we supposed to do? It's not like you weren't warned. It's not like you couldn't have seen the projections. It's not like you probably didn't have business people telling you, well, hey, you got to do this. Analysts breaking things down and saying, hey, Netflix is right. I'm pretty sure there was a guy in that boardroom meeting, Chris, telling them, hey, Netflix is right about this. Based on our analytics here, we probably should take them up on this offer.
Well, see, that's another thing. That's why Toys R Us is gone. Bad management.
So sad.
And one thing that killed Toys R Us, though, is yes, it was the world's biggest toy store and they had beautiful stuff and stuff. But, some of the toys that they would have there, they would be at Walmart or Target for a lot less. Toys R Us, their prices were too high on a lot of things. You know what I mean?
The last thing I ever got from Toys R Us, I think it was like a year and a half before they closed, was I got like a Batman, Michael Keaton 1989 Batman action figure, one of the really nice ones that super high quality. And it was the last thing I ever got from Toys R Us. I'm so sentimental about it because Toys R Us is gone now. I used to go there so much. I used to have I had a woman I was dating back in the day, and one of her favorite things used to be to go to Toys R Us, and because she just loved walking around Toys R Us. And that was always something that I always thought was so cool. Just walking around Toys R Us, checking out all the awesome stuff that they've got. And it was always a fun time. Like I would do that with buddies. We would just go to Toys R Us and hang out and talk about stuff. We'd have serious conversations walking around the Toys R Us. I mean,
and the funny thing is that's where my grandma took me to buy Killer Instinct for my Super Nintendo when it dropped. Toys R Us. So there's memories. Do
you still have your original copy of Killer Instinct from when you were a kid?
No, but I do have
I know. I think you've got one, and I think I saw you had one in box, don't you? You've got
Yeah, I have a graded one.
a graded one.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
What's up, Endless One Up? Good to see you. What's up, Super King 64? Good to see you. Council Fanboy says, "Sup, D."
Yeah,
Endless,
so
what's up? Yes. Oh my God, there it is. The Super Nintendo version.
Yep.
I like it. I like the Super Nintendo version. I never had a problem with the Super Nintendo version.
Now I had a Killer Instinct Gold for the Nintendo 64. I had a sealed one of those, but somebody offered me $6,000 for it, so I was like, goodbye. So,
oh my God, so
stupid.
So like what? Okay, so like what's your opinion of the Super Nintendo version nowadays? Like, what do you think? Like, I wish you would get to play the remastered version that I was talking about.
I'll have to check that.
You'll have to get that, and I could even send it to you if you want to.
Okay.
I could email it to you or something, because it is so much fun. Like,
yeah, I would love to check it out.
It is the fact that it's like it's so close to the arcade just drives me nuts.
Wow.
That's great. And so, but like Killer Instinct 2, rumor is that there is a Super Nintendo prototype out there somewhere in the ether, and that it is allegedly better than the N64 version that was released.
Yeah, the KI Gold, because that was basically Killer Instinct 2 was KI Gold for the N64.
And we've got two super chats here. We've got a super chat from my man P Dubs Arcade Loft. What's up, Neil before Zod? Thank you, P Dubs. It's so great to see you. So glad that you're here for this interview with the great Twisted Chris. I couldn't be more happy that Twisted Chris is here, and another friend of mine who I've been kind of hanging out with a little bit and getting to know, Mr. Justin Proper, with a $2 super chat here saying, never heard of Chris, but he seems cool. He definitely is cool, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I've been blessed on this late night Q&A, because everybody that I ask to be on this show is always more than willing to do it. They're always super happy to do it, and they seem to like it, and people seem to love these streams. And I'm very happy with the fact that people are watching it and they're enjoying it, and it's just great. So I'm so thankful. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going crazy with joy, enjoying the show so much, because it's so positive. And like we can, everybody comes on here, and we're never being negative. We're always being positive and talking about all this great stuff that we love. And again, I just couldn't be happier. So what do you think, man? Killer Instinct 2 for Super Nintendo. Would you want to play a prototype? Because I know I would.
Of course. I would love to try it out. Because people come out with stuff all the time that we might not even know about, because I never even knew about Mortal Kombat 2 Plus or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 Plus, but somebody saw the creator that did all the updates on that game. He actually contacted me through my YouTube channel, because he knew I had the originals, and say, hey, me and my design team, we upgraded the stuff. Do you want to try it? I'm like, yeah. So see, I didn't even know about it until they hit me up because of my YouTube channel. It's crazy.
Mm.
So
that is crazy. And Console Fanboy here says Mortal Kombat 1 is the worst fighting game ever made. Windjammers 2 is the best fighting game by far. Hearing you say Mortal Kombat 1 is the worst fighting game ever made, Console Fanboy, is kind of jarring, dude, because I know that you are one of the biggest Mortal Kombat fans in the world, just as Chris is one of the biggest Killer Instinct fans in the world. And Sharon Peters says, I have a question for the Third Floor Arcade. If you ever add an additional floor, will you change your name to the Fourth Floor Arcade?
That's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
love it. You know, one of these upcoming on one of these shows, hopefully sometime in March, Jason, if you're still here, I'm gonna get in contact with you about getting you here for a late night chat, because
Yeah, he'd be a good
it
one.
would be fun to talk to you about all your how you got into the hobby and how you got into all this stuff. And I guess that's my next question for you, Chris. Can you kind of tell us a little bit of how you started collecting, how you began amassing that wonderful archive? Basically, it's like the Wayback Machine, you know, this archive that you have behind you.
Yeah, it's funny because it looks like, since all the stuff I got, that I've been collecting for a long time. It's only been since 2018. But no, so how my property sits, it sits on about a half an acre in the city, right? And my house was built in 1945, so it's a heritage. I'm in the heritage district, right? Well, my garage that's disattached to my house, it's separate to it. It was rotting because it was from 1945. It was rotting to hell. So then one day I was just like, I'm going to bulldoze it and we're going to make a ultimate game room. So we made it 2 stories. So the game room's actually the second floor and bottom is the garage. So it's 1,165 square feet each level. And so that's when it started. But before it was being built, I had the KI and the KI2 arcade machine, and I was just buying stuff until it was built. And then I had a good amount, and then I just went ape crap when this thing was done, and it just never stopped. I got a little out of control. So yeah, it all happened since 2018.
I like the videos that you're doing now, where you'll bring out some things in your collection and you'll talk a little bit about their value, and you'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
about how you got it and what it
Mm-hmm.
means to you and what it means to your collection. I think I find that to be fascinating, particularly when you have the kind of archive that you have. It's really amazing. Like I I have to say, like, you can't be buried with all that stuff. So what are you what are you gonna do? Is it gonna be passed down? Like a
Yeah,
generational thing?
it would be passed down to my oldest daughter. Because I have 3 daughters. Okay. Well, I had my 17-year-old, and then I have my 14-year-old daughter, and then I did have Lillian, the 22-month that passed.
Yes.
So I still have 2 daughters left. So yeah, all this crap will be passed down to them, and they can sell it, burn it, whatever they want to do.
Sell it, burn it.
But I told my oldest daughter, I was like, look, whenever it's my time to go, okay, and I still have all this crap, just sell the Killer Instincts, the very last thing, okay? Let that be the last.
They'll probably keep the Killer Instincts in your memory, if nothing else, because those are like, those
Yeah.
like define you. Those were like your most, like your prized possessions at that point. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and the third floor arcade with Jason answers Sharon Peters' question. Says Sharon Peters, hell yeah, I'm running low on space. I need another floor pretty bad. Oh my God, the 4th floor arcade.
And it's funny because his channel's called the Third Floor Arcade, right? With Jason. And I never thought about it until she brought that up. I didn't know it was on his 3rd floor. I thought it was just, the name or whatever, but yeah, I guess it's on his 3rd floor. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. And Jason I just love it. Again, we've talked, his authenticity is really, really cool. And you could tell he's coming from a place in his heart that he really
yeah.
cares about these games and loves these machines. And I just love it. Like he'll do like him and another Jason, CT Jason, will do these do these tours of their of what they have, and it's just amazing to see. CT Jason is another one that is just fantastic in my opinion.
I love the vibes that I want to say his game room is most likely, the looks of it's in a basement, right?
Uh-huh.
And that basement is huge. And the way he got it laid out looks just like you know, like a 90s arcade back in the day. It's fantastic. And, you know, I love that guy's channel. And I talk to him all the time.
The final touch with for me was when he got the jukebox.
That was, yeah, that was a
I'm
great video.
like, my God, that's dope. That was dope. He got the jukebox, and I'm like, okay. And he did the video about how he was coming out of Walmart with it in the cart.
shopping cart.
People were looking at him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, it's so nice to see these kinds of stories, you know, throughout the community, you know, everything being so positive and people just going, you know, for what they love and doing what makes them happy. And it's just, it's just great.
The sad thing is I would have never even known about CT Jason's YouTube channel if he didn't comment on one of my videos on my YouTube. Because then I saw his thumbnail. I was like, who's this guy? You know, I went to his channel and saw one of his videos. Boom, instant subscription, you know. But it's cool how we find other channels that we may not know of.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we're finding everybody through each other. This network is just fantastic. The Third Floor Arcade with Jason says, I might wait and get a Killer Instinct Countercade when it comes out. I'm with you, Jason. That's what I want. I want a Killer Instinct Countercade. Like I said earlier, if Bobby Vu wasn't so busy, I would like ask him to make me a Killer Instinct Countercade, because I really, I don't really want the 3/4 scale.
Yeah,
I just want the Countercade, because I think that would be cool. And I'd like it to be online, but I don't know. I mean, I know I'm not, you know, and I know I'm not good at Killer Instinct, so I'm not looking forward to getting my butt handed to me on a regular basis, which, you know.
See, here's another thing. I know a lot of people, you know, they want the countercades online. Let me put this in your head for a moment. The reason why I don't think those are online or will be online is because the way Arcade 1UP sees it is, if they were online, then nobody's going to buy the 3/4 scale. See what I'm saying? If you want the online, you got to get the big boy. If you don't care for the online, but you want the game, then you can go with the countercade. You know what I mean? It would cancel out the bigger machine. That's just my point of view, you know.
But I kind of feel like that. I agree with that. But then at the same time, I feel like if they want to grow the fighting game community, they've got to have some of these entry-level countercades online, because you're going to have people that, you know, the truth is, for a lot of us, space is at a premium. So you kind of have to juggle what you're going to put in it and what you're not going to put in it. And I've said this many times before. If I get that Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary, if I get that machine because I want to be able to play online, I'm done. I don't have any more room in my apartment unless I move or start moving out furniture to get another arcade cabinet. So I'm pretty much, so it's kind of like, I look at countercades as like the saving grace to like kind of keep it going if I want to get more later on down the line.
Yeah, but the way I see it though is, you see the price difference. Okay, from $700 and whatever the countercades,
where you can get some countercades for as low as like $179. I mean,
yeah. So see, you're paying that cheap, so all they got to say is, well, you're not getting Wi-Fi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or you know, not that it's that much more expensive to throw that Wi-Fi antenna in there, but then again, you know, they're
trying to sell the big
feature that they want to use to sell the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Pro series, you know, for $1,000. Well, you're getting a bigger screen, better speakers, you know what I mean?
Which I'll never, it'll never happen. Cyber Mind Arcade says, I hate how some of the players don't save your control setup on Fightcade, and you have to set up controls every time. Yeah, I hate that too. I tried going in there and I thought my controls were set up, and then I realized that they weren't, and I had to go in and recontrol. And it messes things up when people challenge you on Fightcade, because you think you're all good, and then you go in and you don't have any controls. So I agree with that. And Sickness asks, is Killer Instinct really on Xbox? Yes, it is. You can actually get, if you have an actual physical Xbox machine, you can play the 2013 version, and you can play what they've dubbed Killer Instinct Classic, which is the arcade versions of Killer Instinct and Killer Instinct 2. Now, if you don't have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X or S or whatever, and you just have like the online where you can play on a computer or on another system like I do, unfortunately, you can't play Killer Instinct Classic. For some reason, the classic version of Killer Instinct is not included online for like the streaming only, unless you have a physical Xbox. So you can only play the 2013 version.
Yeah,
if you don't have it's exclusive to the physical version of the Xbox, but it most definitely is online sickness. I don't know if you have an actual an Xbox One or X or whatever, but it is. If you do, yeah, you can play Classic, and you can play it free with their Game Pass. It's there. So there's another thing I've now when I think about it, I'm like, actually, just get an Xbox, and if you can find one cheap enough, and that was still coded by Code Mystics. Same people that did the arcade 1-up, and it's been around for a lot longer, so it's a lot more polished. Just saying. So third floor, y'all need a smaller plant for the review video. Chris, can you discuss the 2003 Playgirl cover that you appeared in? I didn't know you appeared on Playgirl.
I did. I would love to see it though if you got the link.
in 2003, I that's pretty amazing. Gary, I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I would have been. Never. 23.
2003. Cyber Mind Arcade says Dwarf Bonsai Tree. Third floor arcade. What's up, Keely Chow? Good to see you. Hail, Keely Chow. Good to see you in the chat. We've got if I had a big blue, I'd play only wearing blue blocker glasses from the infomercial. You remember the rap song for the for the for the blue blockers?
Oh man.
He said, my name is Geek. I put them on as a shocker. Man, I love these blue blockers. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That brings back memories, man. You got a pair of blue blockers in your archive room there, Chris. I call it the archive room because there's just so much history there. You've got so much. It's like, wow, dude. I mean, you could actually make endless videos.
Oh yeah,
about all the stuff you have, and you
never buy anything again.
Never buy anything else, and you'd never run out of content to talk about. That's the hilarious part.
That's the funny thing about the series I started. What's it worth? When I go over different items and explain how much it's worth. I mean, I got so much crap in here. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Cyber Mind Arcade says Bobby would make a great art director for a company. Indeed. Yeah, definitely. I would be in favor of any, whatever company hires Bobby Vu. I'm going to say this now. I will be forever loyal to whichever company hires him, because I feel like he will take them into the future, because he's got so many great ideas. The man is a complete genius. He's like the angel of the arcade, of the home arcade community. He really is. I mean, there's really no negatives to Bobby. He's such a positive dude.
He's a very nice person.
He's great. Nice. And he's a wonderful family man too. I'll never forget the day he showed me the Miss Pac-Man arcade that he built for his children, that he built for his daughters for their birthday. He has young daughters, and he built this Miss Pac-Man, and he put their faces on the cabinet. It was the most adorable thing I'd ever seen. And he did it, and he built it from scratch. It was beautiful. Like, the guy is, when you talk about talent, it just doesn't get, in this community, it just doesn't get any better. For real. Yeah. We are all blessed to know and be friends with Bobby Vu. I have to say, Integrity 101. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. He says, I got no notifications. God, I hate YouTube. Oh yeah, YouTube is really weird when it comes to notifications.
Yeah, I've noticed that too on notifications. It doesn't always pop up.
And Cybermind Arcade says, like a classic car restorer, Vu makes works of art. Exactly, he does. His cabinet, and everything. Look at the deck, the big blue deck that he made for Chris. That's a work of art. It's got the Twisted Gaming TV logo on it and everything. It's got Ryu, and now everything you said in your video, everything that he did on your deck was custom. You told him that you wanted Ryu, and you mentioned how you could get any character or whatever you want to put on it, any color, and it's just amazing how perfectly it blends in with your big blue cabinet.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty dang amazing. I can't believe how nice it looks. It's really nice.
Yeah. I mean
the quality is right on there.
And Console Fanboy says, I only get naked when I play Mortal Kombat. That's pretty funny. But see, you got to try that naked, playing Mortal Kombat naked when you're eating your Pop-Tart, like Sharon Peters said. You got to try that. That's pretty fun.
I'm going to play Killer Instinct naked the next time I play it.
Hey, you could do that. That's pretty awesome. With snaps. We got Third Floor Arcade with Jason says, thank you both. Hey, Jason, man, you're welcome anytime. You are awesome. And Cyber Mind Arcade says, I only get naked for my cell phone when I think FBI might be watching, and I sing the Edward Snowman song as I teabag the cam. Oh my God. Okay. So now Cyber Mind and Sharon Peters are competing with each other for the most. And Sharon Peters, again, she says, the only thing fake about me is my double D's. Oh, okay.
We finally got the answer, because on another stream at one point, I kept asking her, what is the cup size? And she never said, but now we know. Thank you.
Now we know double D's. So Sharon, nice. Sharon is what I love about Sharon is she's revealing more and more about herself every single stream. She comes on and Sharon, once again, thank you so much for all your support. I love you coming in here. You bring so much levity and fun to the chats. I enjoy you so much. And Gary says, if you're a great content creator, you don't have to beg for subs, likes, and comments. I agree.
True.
Very true. I mean, you do your stuff, and the people that like you are gonna pay attention to you. Even the people that don't like you are gonna pay attention to you, because they're gonna want to know what you're gonna say that's gonna tick them off next. It's really
you know how many haters I probably have on my channel that are subscribed.
I remember the story that you told about that hater that and you did the video and you showed it, and he kind of was misconstruing a lot of your stuff and was taking things personally and taking things out of whack. And I thought about that for a little bit. And for me, something about that guy just seemed off. I kind of couldn't tell if he was, I kind of felt like maybe he might have had a bit of an issue.
I did a research on him later, and he was ex-military. So
he had like PTSD and stuff.
Probably, because if you saw the weird shit that was on his YouTube channel, there was one where he was talking to a grave, that some young chick died, got murdered or whatever. He actually went to her grave and made a YouTube channel about it. And she said, if your parents are watching this video, tell them I'm just here to pay my respects. And it's like, dude, your video got 15 views. They ain't gonna see that shit. And then he says, okay, bye. And then he runs out of the cemetery like a nut.
Wow, bro. Wow. That is crazy. Listen, at that point, now from there, and from doing that research you did, you realized there that this guy was no threat. He was just a Looney Tune. He was just a nut.
Like, and I didn't care, right? But what made me pop off was when one of his videos he did put up on his thumbnail had my deceased daughter that's in this picture on it.
Oh my God.
That was it.
Yeah, that would be enough. That would
That
be
was
enough.
it.
I
So then
agree
I
with
hit
you
up
there.
YouTube channel and I threatened YouTube. I said, you need to have him delete all his shit. And I did like 9
Yes, get
copyright
rid of
strikes.
that. Get rid
Or
of it.
I told YouTube, if they're not down in a week, my lawyer is going to be contacting your ass because, we don't do that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go there.
that's below the belt. When you're
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
going after somebody's deceased relative or daughter or whatever, that's completely off limits, and you're
Yeah.
completely in the right to go after that.
That's
Totally.
right.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
they
my
took
girl.
them all down.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's definitely necessary. My girl Saggy Melons, what's up? Dropping by to drop a like to the homie. Always a pleasure to see you, Saggy. You are awesome. Bubbles in the beer. And Saggy says, my safe word is Batman. Man, people are trying to compete with Sharon tonight. I swear. Oh my God. That's a hell of a safe word, Saggy. Batman. I'll remember that. The third floor arcade with Jason says Toys R Us had a great video game section too. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always. And remember when they got to the point where they no longer had the video games on the shelves? You would have to take like a little cardboard sleeve, and you'd take this little piece of cardboard up to the front of the checkout when you wanted to buy a game. I always thought that was ridiculous because that took a lot of the fun out of it. It's like taking the game, got to go, and then they got to open up that was back when I think people were stealing cartridges and stuff. So they just was like, yeah. And Sharon Peters finally responds after Saggy Melons gives her safe word of Batman. Sharon Peters says, I don't have a safe word. Like I've said in the past, I love poles in all my holes. Okay.
She would be a fun person to go on a date with.
not only that, it would just be, she would be fun, to hang out with. You know where she'd be fun to hang out, and she'd be fun to go hang out with her in Jason's third floor arcade.
You ain't
that would be a fun night.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. I love it, man. I love these people. Everybody's so awesome. Cybermind Arcade says, my name is stolen from the Dacty Nightmare Arcade in the mall. Dacty Nightmare Arcade. Oh, okay. Toys R Us was funny. You grab a paper and go in and go to the fenced in game lockup. Yeah. All the games would be locked up, and they would, the cage. Yeah, the cage at Toys R Us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh God, that's so funny. The cage at Toys R Us. Yeah. Because you remembered that, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that comment because it just brought back so many memories when you said the cage at Toys R Us. I mean, you'd see everything back there from like video games to beach balls, whatever it was, it would be back there. They had a ton of stuff. Let's see. Don't remember video games at Children's Palace or KB Toys at all. I guess they were too long ago. I remember video games being at KB Toys.
Yeah, they were behind the register.
Yeah, they didn't have a big selection. It was usually just like titles that were popular at the time, or titles that they couldn't sell. They'd be behind the wall. You'd find all the TurboGrafx 16 titles behind there that nobody was buying at the time. And nothing against TurboGrafx 16. That's a great system. The third floor arcade with Jason says, yeah, the cage was great. Everybody remembers the cage.
Oh yeah.
Gold package. Well, one of the greatest things about the Super Nintendo Killer Instinct cartridge was the fact that it was a black cartridge where it stood out amongst all the rest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The third floor arcade with Jason says, I used to buy a lot of TurboGrafx 16 games at Toys R Us. I could see why. They were probably always discounted. It was probably the cheapest games you could get. Cybermind Arcade says, I remember that series of toys. I had the Bat Wing and the Bat Cave. And I miss Sam Goody and KB Toys. Did Sam Goody have a small video game section? I think they may have had like Nintendo games back in the day.
I want to say they did.
Everybody sold Nintendo games,
Yeah.
the NES cartridges. And even back in the day, Funko Land used to rip people off. You'd go, you'd buy a game, you'd get like hoops for Nintendo, and you'd buy it for $49.99. You'd play it for a week, you'd be done with the replay, but you'd try to take it to Funko Land the very next day. They get Funko Land to give you 15 cents for it and turn around and sell it for like $49.99.
Like GameStop.
Yeah. Funko Land was GameStop of those times.
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
much. And the same practices, the same exact. I mean, that's probably why Funko Land ended up getting acquired by GameStop, because they were.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. They bought Funko Land, didn't they? GameStop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Couldn't remember.
I miss Funko Land. Even had the sleeves for the NES cartridges. Remember, they had their own, and they said Funko Land on them.
Yeah.
I remember Super Nintendo NES first got turned on at Joe's Price's house. I noticed the stereo sound. Oh yeah, the stereo sound on the Super Nintendo. One of the great things about Super Nintendo for me was the music. And Sharon Peters says, "What are you talking about? Toys R Us still exists. I bought a vibrator from there just 2 days ago." Awesome. Well, I've heard that Toys R Us is trying to reemerge, and that there are some, but there's none near me. I don't.
Yeah, neither here. I think there's a few that are in malls, right? It's kind of like a
how KB Toys used to be. Yeah. And we've got Hollywood Polo. What's going on, Hollywood Polo? How was your day, man? He's here. He's saying hi, everyone. Boogie Nights Super NES had the hi-fi audio like Boogie Nights. Yeah. And we've got Cybermind Arcade. He says, "I love the theft protection cases on the graded games."
Yeah.
It's like you're grading games like they're comic books from the 1930s, like for real. Like if you opened a store with all the stuff that you have,
yeah,
you'd be good. You'd be good to go for a good while, I think. Oh my God. I mean, and you'd always be getting stuff in. Hell, those graded games, some fire there. They need an ink splatter cartridge too. I have a shirt from JCPenney with an ink bomb on it. I think they forgot to take it off, and I haven't been back in 5 years. Did you now do they have the ink thing on there too, on the protective thing, if you try to get it open without doing
you mean this?
Yeah.
Oh no, because it would destroy the game. See, the way it is when they put these in here, they're made where if you try to, because you can break it off, right? And once you break it off, the tabs are broken. It doesn't go back on. They do this so somebody doesn't get the game and they change the grade by slipping something else in. You know what I'm saying? And sell it for more than it should be. Like, if this was a 9.8 instead of a 9.0, that would add probably $600-700 more on it. You know what I mean? So they do it. So
you got enough to buy a Killer Instinct Pro line if you want it, just by selling that Super Nintendo cartridge.
I know.
I mean, it's like you're sitting there like, well, I've already got the arcade machine, so I would never do that. It would be a complete waste of time. And I when I look at the concept of the Pro line for Killer Instinct, what I don't like is that the Pro line doesn't really look like the arcade version to me. There's too many changes. There's too many modern upgrades, like the speakers and things that they tried to do to it to make it look more appealing to a modern audience. And I understand why they would do that, but at the same time, isn't the pro line supposed to appeal to enthusiasts like Twisted Chris? I mean,
well, what I don't like about the Proline KI is the chrome T molding.
I don't
'Cause
like that either.
Yeah, because the original didn't have that. And but John D, he doesn't really like that chrome on it either, but it wasn't his decision though. It should be black T molding on it, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, they're probably trying to make it pop more, for the new age or whatever.
The new age, and I have to wonder, is the new age going to pay $1,000 to $1,200 for a pro line Killer Instinct?
I don't know, but there's a lot of people that said they're not getting the $700 one, they're getting the $1,000 one. So,
well, like the enthusiast, the enthusiast in the Killer Instinct community, because you're a big you're a big name in the Killer Instinct community. So, in your view, how are people that are specifically devoted to Killer Instinct taking these releases? Are they mainly gearing towards the pro line because they love Killer Instinct so much, or is it a situation where I've got it on Xbox One, or I could play it on MAME, or I can play it on Super Nintendo or whatever? What's the general feeling in your opinion?
I think like the pro line is going to be for the hardcore, people that want KI. The people that are in the middle, they'll buy it, just buy the $700 one or whatever. But like the hardcore people will buy the pro, and then some YouTube creators will buy the pro just to review it, and then they'll probably sell it.
Yeah, sell it or send it
fired back. Or what?
Sell it or send it back.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't review it and just return it.
Just return it, get the money back. I mean, in a lot of ways, you can't really blame people, because on the one hand, yeah, you want to try it out, but do you really want to devote that kind of money long term to that kind of thing? Like, to me, I don't think any arcade 1-up cabinet, pro line or not, is worth $1,000 to $1,200, because at that point you're getting into the range where you could get a pretty damn good multicade that'll pretty much have everything you've ever wanted to play on it. So I really don't. So to me, online or not, if you can get online in like the standard version, like we were talking about earlier, in comparison with the countercades, why are you gonna spend that kind of money when in actuality, I forgot who it was, because there was this YouTuber, I think, who did a video on Killer Instinct and talked about how you could essentially do all the pro line upgrades yourself with the $700 version that exists now and be saving hella money. It's cheaper. You could buy the hapsticks, you could buy the buttons, you could get the new marquee to replace the washed out one. And he did it. He went and he got all the parts. I can't remember who it was now. It's slipping my mind. If somebody out there in the chat remembers, let me know. But he actually did a great video where he talked about how you can do these upgrades. And he actually had the counter showing how much money it would actually cost to purchase what you needed online.
Yeah.
To compete with what Arcade 1-Up is doing with the pro line. And in reality, and like the total, I think the total came out to like less than $100 for all the upgrades, or less than, or maybe it was a little more. I don't really remember, but I just remember that it was far less. The point was that it was far less than what it would cost you if you just bought the pro line.
Yeah. See, another thing that what will sell the pro line though is this, and this is what I think my point of view on some things is: a lot of people don't know how to mod stuff. They don't know how to build stuff, or they don't know the inner workings. So the average Joe will say, okay, I buy this $700 one, but it needs controls and needs a marquee or whatever. Or if I can spend $300 more, I got to have controls. You know what I mean? And another thing is there's people that make more money than other people. So to this person, $1,000 might be a lot of money, right? But then you got this other person that it's nothing. So we're just going to go with the pro line, you know? I mean, it's just different.
To be done with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
essentially.
different points of view of people. Bobby Vu makes badass decks. Could I make that? Hell no.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would,
You know what I mean?
for me, I would just, in that instance, I would just go to Bobby Vu. I would just say, well, Bobby,
Yeah.
I don't need the pro line. I'm just going to go to Bobby.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's Bobby's the answer. Like,
yeah. So
when it comes to that kind of thing.
If you have the know-how, yeah, Bobby Vu can make a damn custom Mortal Kombat machine like he did Console Fanboy. You know what I mean? Can I do that?
And he did,
Nope.
and he did that, and that's what he did for me too. He did me a custom
Exactly.
bar top Mortal Kombat, and it was beautiful. My version is just like a mini version of the version that he built for Console Fanboy. And like I said, to me, that's my prized possession as far as home
Yeah.
arcades go, because he built that thing and it's fantastic. And I mean, my God. Integrity 101 says Zod's been really killing it for the last 4 or 5 months now since he kind of rebooted his channel. Yeah, I've been, just trying to talk to all these great people. And my biggest passion on YouTube, and even before YouTube, when I used to do the ZodWriter show on internet radio, on PSN radio, is interviewing people, having these kind of sit down chats and these discussions. These are the kinds of things that interest me more than anything else. And a lot of things, on my channel, it's like, you could sit down and you can have a discussion and you could enjoy it. But I just love to hear what other people have to say. And so for me, this show, Late Night Q&A, is like the greatest thing I could be doing, because I get so much joy out of it. So thank you for saying that, Integrity 101. And P-Dub's Arcade Loft, he says if he leaves the arcades on the 3rd floor, he doesn't have to change anything. And my good friend Prime, the Godfather, what's up, Prime? He says, what's good, Zod? Hey, good to see you, Prime. Always a pleasure seeing you, bro. And P-Dub's Loft gives us a question here. He says, how the hell do you get those heavy ass arcade machines up to the 2nd floor game room, Chris? That's a great question, P-Dubs. Thank you.
Every time I buy a new arcade machine and I need it, moved here, I have some good friends that own a moving service. So I just give them a call. They'll send 4 people over here, and they hand carry those 400-pound machines all the way up and place them. Hand carry, no dollies, no nothing. So that's how they get up here. I don't move this crap.
I was gonna say you'd probably have a hernia. You'd probably have ruined your back.
Yeah, I'd be in the hospital. I wouldn't even be on the show right now.
you'd have yourself in body casts. You would be. I mean, come on, man. Killer Instinct 2 alone. I mean, and then if you're not a professional and you don't hold that stuff right, if something falls on you, it's over with. I mean, oh my goodness here. And Sickness says, thanks, Zod. I don't have one, but my brother does. I'm gonna go take over his TV and make him play Killer Instinct until he kicks me out. Oh, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, I love playing Killer Instinct now, thanks to Twisted Chris. I mean, he really got me wanting to scratch that Killer Instinct itch that I didn't even know I had. I was like, oh god, I would play it on Xbox. And Console Fanboy says, Sharon, look out for my next song, Double D's. And Sharon Peters says, I can't wait. Console Fanboy. And we've got Corey here. What's up, Corey? Good to see you. Keep up the great content as always, Zod. I certainly will try. I know Late Night Q&A is booked up until the end of this month. And I'm looking forward to every single one of those shows. And Andrew Casali says, my safe word is Spider-Man. Not a surprise there, Andrew. Good to see you. Daniel Martin says, "What's good, Zod and Twisted Chris?" Awesome, awesome. So many good people here, and fell asleep but woke up just in time. And Steve wants to know, "Hey, Twisted, do you have a Grail game? I just grabbed a real Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3."
Oh, so he must got a real Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 arcade machine too, huh? That's nice. Do I have a Grail game? Well, of course, it would be Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 2, and GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64. Oh, I love it.
Now, do you have that game? Do you have a graded copy of 007?
No.
A graded copy. I want to see it.
I don't have a graded. I don't even have a sealed copy. Because when I was looking for those, they were already up in the $3,000 or $4,000 ungraded.
Are you serious? For the N64 cartridge?
What? No, well, for the sealed copy.
Oh,
but now I have a complete in box one that's like real mint. But those even go for like $200 and up now.
And Mike wants to know, "Hey, Twisted, who are those hotties in your community pics?"
Those are actually friends of mine that are actual models. So they're professional models.
Now that's awesome. That is awesome. And that also adds to the aesthetic of the 90s retro gaming shop look that you have by having, super hot models in the store. Like there would be like, when they would do like promotions and stuff like that, you'd have stuff like that where you'd have like a model, promoting like a game or something. I can't remember what game it was. I think there was something. I saw something similar like that at an electronics boutique back in the day when they were promoting Wing Commander 3. They had a model kind of dressed in a space, a space navy kind of uniform, but it was kind of sexy because she had like the short. It was interesting, and I'm kind of reminded of that when I see the stuff that you do in your videos, Chris. You got some good ideas. So you're doing a great job marketing the store that's not really a store.
Yeah. Do you remember the old video game magazines, like EGM?
I used to subscribe to EGM.
Do you? Yeah, and Game Pro and stuff. I had subscriptions to all of them when I was a kid and teenager. Do you remember how raunchy some of those advertisements for the games were on those magazines with the women in there?
Yes.
I mean, they were raunchy back in the day. They couldn't do that now, though.
No, they wouldn't get away with it. They wouldn't get away with it. Like
I
remember seeing an advertisement for one old video game that used to say, now go home and slap your wife and play Nintendo or something like that. And it would be like it would show like a businessman with his hand out like this, ready to slap his wife in the face. I some of those ads to me were just, but it was just part of the times. It was a product of the time. And like now, like you said, you'd never get away with that now. You'd have all types of groups after you. You'd have all types of stuff.
You'd
be canceled for sure. It would be the biggest uproar ever. And
sued and everything.
everything. People that don't even know what the heck was going on would be suing you. It would be ridiculous. And I don't. But a lot of those ads were super funny. I have to admit, they were hilarious.
I was thinking about doing
Smash TV. Remember the ads for Smash TV?
Yeah, I mean there was some. And what was that? Gex? Do you remember that game?
Yeah,
man, they had some crazy ads in that thing.
Oof. And Gex wasn't even all that fun of a game either.
I know.
Gex. I remember the day I got my Panasonic 3DO, and Gex was the pack-in game for 3DO, and I put Gex on, and I played it for about 10 minutes, and I'm like, what is this stupid trash? Like this game is like ridiculous.
But sex sells though, so they were like, "Oh my gosh, if this woman's in the advertisement, I need to buy the game." And it probably sold the crap,
Well, Sharon's Double D's could sell a lot of video games, bro.
Oh yeah. I have to
I
call her
mean,
over for the next
I have
shoot.
to call her over for the next shoot.
Yeah.
And we have Sharon's Peter in here now saying
Look at the
Google
thumbnail.
Google the Moon War ad.
Do you
Oh
see the
my.
thumbnail?
Yeah. Yeah. Sharon's Peter.
So now there's two of them. Oh Jesus.
Boy. So it's funny to me because ads, we could do a whole show on video game ads. Video game ads were amazing back in the day, a lot more interesting than they are now. Now I give Arcade 1-Up credit for reaching out to some big name celebrities and trying to hype their cabinets in certain ways. But if you want to impress me, for the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat, you need to do a commercial where you bring all the old actors back who played the characters in the original game, and you have them reprise the roles of their characters 30 years later.
Yeah.
That would be epic. Now, I know that'll never happen because of the whole Daniel Pesina thing. If they can't get Daniel Pesina on the side of the cabinet, you're not going to get, you're probably not going to be able to get the original actors to come. Maybe some of them, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but see, they only do advertisement online. Have they did a commercial? Did they do one for the Super Bowl a year ago?
I think they did with Mike Tyson, didn't they? Wasn't it Mike Tyson and somebody else? I think they did a couple. Like if they wanted to do it like a Nintendo, like if Arcade 1-Up did got like a deal going with Nintendo and did some sort of like play choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, what's up? What's up, Neo? Good to see you, man. Hey, Unico forever, brother. MVSX all the way, bro. And we got Lord Koj in the chat. What's up, Koj? Good to see you. Eee. Man, dude, I'm like, I think Arcade 1-Up. This is why their prices are so high, because they're trying to entice celebrities to come back and do do advertisements and things to promote these. Keep up the cool streams, my man. Thank you so much, Neo. Hey, I'm loving this. Like I said, there's nothing better than being able to sit down and have a great conversation with super cool people that are totally into all this stuff. This is just fantastic. I'll never get tired of talking about this stuff. I mean, yeah. So, okay, Chris, we know that your favorite arcade games you mentioned are Ultimate Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct. You said you love them equally. It's like a tie.
Mortal Kombat 2 and Killer
Kombat 2 and Killer Instinct.
But Ultimate is awesome too.
What is your all-time favorite console game?
Great choice. All-time console. It'd probably be between GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64 and Mario Kart.
Okay. Well, Mario Kart is a favorite for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I right now am leaning towards, for me, it's hard because they released, I had mentioned this a couple times before, on around Christmas time last year, a fan group got together and remastered the Sega Genesis version of Mortal Kombat and put all kinds of, like, redid it, added in all these animations, changed some things, made it a much better game, added Ermac from the EGM. Remember the EGM article about finding Ermac in Mortal Kombat 1, Chris? You remember? Now, I had that issue, and I remember them saying you could find Ermac and you would fight him in the Warrior Shrine. These guys got together, and I don't know how they did it, but they remastered Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis. And if you beat the game all the way, you beat Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis, and you beat Shang Tsung at the end, you will be transported back to the Warrior Shrine, and you will fight Ermac. And it literally looks like it came right out of the pages of that EGM magazine. I was like dying. I was freaking out, like I was fanning, like I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is so freaking awesome. But you had to beat it all the way through with one guy and not lose any lives and not use any continues. You just had to win it all the way through, and it was fire. I was like, man, this is so great. So I'm leaning toward that being my favorite console game of all time. And then I'm also a big fan of what they did, what I was telling you about with Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
I am just in love with that version for Super Nintendo.
But
if those versions were released back in the day, that's what
what is your two favorite console games back in the day before this?
Back in the day. Okay, let's see. Back in the day, I would say when I used to play Nintendo, my favorite game of all time for original Nintendo was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Back in the day. I used to love that game. To this day, I still play it. For Super Nintendo, back in the day, I gotta give it to Mortal Kombat 2. Because I used to play a lot of Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo back in the day, and I absolutely loved Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo more than Mortal Kombat 1 for Super Nintendo, just simply because, blood and fatalities and gore, and it's just ridiculous. Because like Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo was a revolution, like by standards of what they did prior. And even today, if you play Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo, it's still a fun game.
Yeah. Well, see, Nintendo, they knew they made the mistake when they didn't put the blood in Mortal Kombat 1. It hurt their sales because everybody wanted the blood in, Sega Genesis. So after they knew that, when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, they said, screw this. It ain't going to be sweat. It's going to be blood this time. And then, bam, it was better than the Genesis.
And speaking of EGM, you remember back in the day when they were developing Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo, and Nintendo was still unsure what direction they were going in. There were all these pictures of Mortal Kombat 2 with big like chunks of like white sweat coming out of people because they were trying to decide what they were going to do. And ironically, the Japanese version of Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo or for Super Famicom was censored, but they didn't take the blood out. They just made the blood green instead of red. And then when you did a fatality, they did it in grayscale. Wow. So it looked like a kung fu movie kind of, because they did it like where they grayed it out so you could see the fatality being performed, but it was just in black and white, and all the blood was green, almost as if they weren't human. They were all like reptile or something. But it's an interesting thing that Japan of all places had censorship for Mortal Kombat 2, but the American version had buckets of blood everywhere. It was insane.
Well, another funny thing about Nintendo, when they had the Mortal Kombat 1 and the sweat and stuff, and they're not sure on the Mortal Kombat 2 and this and that, but then years later, they create Killer Instinct with blood. That's a Nintendo game. It's Killer Instinct, so it's crazy.
Which I've never been able to understand. Like Killer, and then Nintendo coming out with Killer Instinct would be like the Disney Channel doing an adaptation of Berserk. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, how is this even possible? Mortal Kombat was the reason where Nintendo like lost their crap, and they just went and everybody went to court. Remember, that was the whole reason for the video game rating console and all that stuff. For me, I feel like Nintendo, hypocrisy is real because Killer Instinct exists. It's like,
it's
what?
Pretty wild. And then they had on the 64, they had Bonkers
Oh yeah,
Bad
Conker's
Fur
Bad
Day.
Fur
I mean
Day.
Conker's,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yes.
look how bad that game was. Bad.
That game could never be released today.
Have you seen the commercial that's for
Yeah,
that they played on YouTube?
yeah.
Where she looks like she's,
Yeah.
I mean,
It is. It is
God.
really. You know what? I kind of think Conker's Bad Fur Day. They could have remade. They could have made like an animated movie, and Conker's Bad Fur Day would have been like an updated version of like Felix the Cat,
Yeah.
because Conker's Bad Fur Day is that raunchy.
Oh, yeah.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is not for kids, and it's all and it's not really ironic. It's another rare title from the same people that brought you Killer Instinct. You got Conker's Bad Fur Day, so that's another. Now do you have a sealed graded copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day?
No, but I got a mint copy, complete box. But yeah, those things are a couple of G's now.
And we've got Sharon Peters here challenging Chris, saying Chris is lying about his favorite console game. In private, he told me that his favorite game is Barbie Horse Adventures for the PS2. I didn't even know that was a real thing. Barbie Horse Adventures. Sharon Peters, what's your favorite console game of all time?
Yeah, let us know.
That's the real question. Let us know in the comments. Lord Koj says, knowing you as a Rocky fan, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, compliments. Yes, I love the Rocky movies, and Mike Tyson's Punch Out
those were good movies.
Absolutely dope. I always had MK on Genesis, then N64, then it was all PlayStation after. And VC says, sup y'all? What's up, VC? Killer Instinct wasn't photography of live actors, so I think they felt more comfortable there. Oh, you're talking about Nintendo? Yeah. And Lord Koj also wants to know, y'all dig the digital N64 Switch console app? I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I don't know.
I haven't checked that out yet. I know that they came out with the NES and Super NES, put titles on the Switch or whatever.
All I hear is people complaining about it every month, so I don't know.
And then they came out with the N64, I guess, putting games on there, but I don't know. If I want to play a Nintendo 64 game, though, I have my N64 console, but I also have an EverDrive.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
It has every game on it.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, because anybody that loves it that much and wants to play it on their original hardware is going to have an EverDrive.
Yeah, they're not going to play it on a Switch.
Not only that, you're gonna always have problems with emulation and stuff like that on the Switch, because Nintendo doesn't care. They'll just put the stuff out and play. Because I saw nothing. Honestly, I saw so many complaint videos, bro, when they started putting out Nintendo Switch games. It was ridiculous. I was on Nintendo Switch N64. I was watching video after video, and it would just be like, what? Angela White says Barbie Horse Adventures was awesome, especially when Barbie ended up marrying the horse at the end. I can't.
You got some crazy viewers on.
I can't relate, dude. I don't know. The N64 still works well. And Sharon Peters answers the question. My favorite console game is Special Olympics 2 for the PS5. Oh, I don't.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think so, but okay. It's a nice time. It's nice for travel, I'll say. And that dude Vince says, I love my Switch. Yeah. I don't know. I never got into it. I didn't get a Switch. I
have 5 of them.
Oh wow, that's cool, dude. That's cool. So when you're on the go, that's what you play. That's your handheld of choice.
Yeah. But
do you have one of them? Do you have one of them modded so you can do emulation, so you can play Killer Instinct and games that you really love?
I have a modded Switch clone that has like 30,000 games on it. It has Sega Genesis. It has everything on it.
Does it have Killer Instinct? And it plays it well?
It plays it pretty well, but
because I just a lot of stuff, you know, emulation wise with Killer Instinct, I've noticed it's like
problem.
especially when you get into like some of these handhelds and stuff, it's a big issue because it has something to do with MAME and the various you know, emulators and cores not being able to run it properly. And that dude Vince says, I also use my Xbox Series S for emulation. It's a beast. That is one of the reasons why I want to get an Xbox S for emulation, because I think that would be cool. Put RetroArch on it, and you could probably play any arcade game known to man with no issues whatsoever, and then put that in a cabinet.
Yeah, see, I actually have original modded Xbox, the first Xbox, and it has a clear casing and everything. I think it has like 26,000 games.
Yeah, I bought one of those off of Etsy for my sister a couple years back, and it's got all these games, and it even has like original Xbox games saved to the hard drive, and you've actually got a nice menu where you can scroll through all these games and choose, you know, what you want. It's really nice. For something like that, if you really want a nice emulation machine, that original Xbox was super powerful. Really was. I kind of wonder if the original Xbox could have played Killer Instinct. Probably could have. Pretty popular. I mean, pretty powerful.
Maybe.
And Sharon Peters says, Angela White had the comment of the night. I can't stop laughing. PSP was best with mods and emulation too. Yeah, PSP had a lot of good stuff too. I had a PSP for a limited time, and I ended up selling it. Did you have a PSP? Do you still have a PSP, Chris? Were you into?
I never got one of those. No.
Let's see. And Angela White loves Sharon Peters, and Sharon Peters says, you never asked Chris who his favorite porn star is. Oh yeah, that's a tradition now. Thanks to Sharon Peters, I have to ask every guest who their favorite porn star is.
Yeah, my favorite porn star is you, Sharon. So just give me your number and we can set up a time and place. I've got a new couch over there in the retro. We'll test you out.
Great.
If you don't make yourself as a porn star, I'll make you into one.
do you have a red couch?
No, I don't have a red couch.
See, this red couch is really where it's at. I have to say, I love the red couch.
I had to get rid of my what was that? What was the thing that I had before I changed out the couch? What are those things called? A futon? Because they had too many stains on it, so I had to get rid of that shit.
Yeah, I had a green couch before this one. That was like that I got secondhand from one of those mom and pop furniture stores, and it was great, and it had the bed. It opened up into a bed. You could convert like a transformer. You could, and it was really fun. But after a while, you couldn't sleep on the bed anymore, so I had to get rid of it because
Sharon came over too many times.
Sharon came over too many times. Sharon Peters, the only good Switch is the one my lover spanks me with when we play Horse. Horse is a game. Okay. That dude Vince says my neighbor said sold me an original Xbox for $20, and I was gonna mod it, and it's already modded. Oh,
that's
funny. $20 for a modded Xbox. That's a pretty good deal, bro. Like you could play a lot of stuff. You could play a lot of good stuff. I love how everybody mods everything nowadays. It just makes it fantastic. And Sharon Peters says, you guys are great. This is the most fun I've had since the time I lost my virginity. Well, I'm glad, Sharon, that Chris and I could bring you that much joy. I mean, because in all honesty, this has been a great show. I mean, I'm super excited. I'm super hyped that so many of you guys are still here with us tonight.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. We're just like vibing and talking about all this great stuff. It's great not to run out of, topics to talk about when it comes to this great arcade stuff. So what's the next arcade for you, Twisted Chris, that you're gonna get and add to the archive room?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm trying to get find me original Mortal Kombat 1, original Mortal Kombat 2 arcade machine. Now, I do have an Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 original, and it does have the MK1, 2, and Ultimate 3 arcade boards inside. So I got all the games, but I want the actual cabs sitting by side to give it the vibe then. You see what I'm saying? And then another fighter that I would love to have would be Virtual Fighter 2, because that meant a lot to me too.
Wow, now that's an interesting one.
Yeah, Virtual Fighter 2. None of the other Virtual Fighters, but Virtual Fighter 2.
To have that in your arcade, that would be unique.
Yeah,
that would be a unique one to put next to all the Mortal Kombats. And
yeah. Yeah, it was just different though, and it was a good game from Sega. If you think about it, Sega made a lot of great arcade games.
They sure did.
So many of them, and yeah, so that's one of them I would want. Would I like original Daytona? Hell yeah, but they're too big, dude. I see them for sale all the time, and those Daytona arcade machines are too big.
Oh yeah, I would never want like a sit down cabinet of any type.
Too big.
I always thought I had a dream that Arcade 1-Up was going to come out with a Wing Commander arcade cabinet and have make it like a little cockpit and have like the stick, and it was going to be a sit down thing. And I've been like, who would want to build that?
Yeah, because even the Killer Instinct and the Big Blue or whatever, they're a step up on building them than the first gen cabinets.
Oh, absolutely. They look much higher quality. That's
now. I don't want to build the Pro model because I don't know what that's going to be involved. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to be involved in that?
Yeah, it's crazy. And York here says, I feel like Twisted's finishing move would be the titty twister.
That's funny.
Oh my God. That dude Vince says, good thing about the Series S is you pay $19 for a dev license and Microsoft doesn't care. That's cool. That's probably why you got RetroArch and all these emulation programs that you can use on the Xbox S, and it's a beast. That's fantastic. That might be the version of Xbox I end up getting at some point, the Series S, just simply for the emulation capability, and then maybe just put it in a cab. I mean, that'd be pretty fun. Console Fanboy says, here are mine, and he's naming off all his favorite porn stars. We've got Angela White, Ava Adams, Blondie Fesser, Lisa Ann, Siri, Alexis Texas, Sophie B.
I've heard of Alexis.
There are 5 others, and I can't remember them all right now.
My favorite real porn star was this porn star named Gauge. Gauge.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
She was only in, I think, maybe 2 years, but damn. Woo! Man.
There's there's quite a few. I mean to me, I like Nia Nasi, and I like who else? What's her name? I think her name's Naomi Blaze, I think is her name. Or Bliss.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I like her a lot too. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. And Angela White says, I hate when the cockpit is too big. Okay, Angela. well, if you're gonna have a Wing Commander arcade 1-Up, it's gonna be big. What difficulty do you play your Guitar Hero, Chris? The arcade is much more difficult than the console version.
Oh yeah, my arcade. I play it on medium. I can't play it on the hard. Now I have a few friends that come over and play this on hard, and damn, they nail it. But I don't know. My age, I can't do all that crap anymore like I used to could as a teenager or a kid. You know what I mean? It just wears
I
me
actually
out.
never played Guitar Hero. I never had any interest in it.
Yeah.
Like I remember all my friends being excited for when they came out with the Guitar Hero Beatles collection.
Mm.
And it was this big thing, and there were a lot of commercials, and you could do all the Beatles music and stuff. That was huge. There must have been some huge licensing fees for that.
They even came out with the Metallica one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about licensing.
Well, see, that's why there's no new ones either. Too expensive.
Yeah,
And everybody says, I wish Arcade One Up would bring a Guitar Hero, and good luck. It'd be too much money. They wouldn't make a dime off of it. You know what I mean?
and Council Fanboy says, "Oh yeah, I remember now. Kiana Mia, Luna Star. I'll text you I'll text you later with the."
Luna Star, yeah, I remember her too.
And Sharon Peters says, "My favorite porn star is Ivan Yekanov. He's Russian."
Well, we ain't gonna look him up. We ain't gonna look him up.
And Sharon Peters said, "I loved Gage in Nuts to Butts 32."
That's not how you spell her name. There. Oh, yeah.
And Sharing Peters says, "Gage is a handsome man."
Look, it's another one. We got 3 Sharons. Oh my God.
Power bottom if memory serves me right. Okay, yeah, that's a topic for another show. We gonna have to get a porn star on late night Q&A. It seems like people are really gravitating towards that. So that'd be an interesting show. I don't know if we can do it on YouTube though. Molly Sims, Riley Reed. I'll be back. Let me go to people.
Oh, Riley Reed, yeah.
Riley Reed, yeah, I know Riley Reed. One of the funny things is it's like, speaking of porn stars, Oculus. Who uses if you're a straight male, who uses the Oculus Quest to play games? I just want to know because it really is like, I mean, I always tell people if you want to see, if you want to see like technology advancing in industry on a level you've never seen, the virtual reality scene is like the greatest thing ever for porn.
There was a guy on YouTube that does reviews of stuff, and he reviewed this game where it was virtual reality, and of course it shows the video on YouTube and everything.
Yeah,
but it's a virtual strip club. It was wild, dude. I mean, it was crazy. It looks real as hell.
Yeah. Virtual strip clubs are crazy. Like it really is a crazy experience. And I think people, I think that's the thing that's driving virtual reality right now.
Yeah.
Because virtual reality, you can't really. I mean, to me, the games when I play any games via virtual reality, I get a headache.
Oh yeah, and I'll stop you there because I had the virtual reality for the PlayStation, the PSVR, right? And the only game I could play on there was I forgot what it's called, but it's a golf game, right? That's the only one that didn't mess me up. But like the shooters and stuff, I could play for 20 minutes and I'm ready to throw up. So I sold that shit.
It's like when you do like the roller coasters online. Through the VR and the bungee jumping. And I'm like, these people are nuts because you do that stuff in VR and it tricks your brain into thinking that you're actually in that situation. I will show a little bit here of what my favorite virtual reality scenario is here. If I can do it. Nope, not that one.
Was that Sharon Peters video?
No, that wasn't Sharon Peters video. Let's see. I'm trying to share something here. I think no, but it wasn't Sharon Peters video. But here's here's a little bit of what I like in virtual reality. This is a bit of a try. It's This is what virtual reality was meant for. We got here. Let's take a look here. Let's just take a look here.
That's pretty badass.
That's some of the.
Wow.
This environment. Now, see, because I have a small apartment, if I want something that's going to compete with Jason's third floor arcade, this is the best I can
go
do.
there. Hell, you even got bowling. That's pretty cool. Wow, WrestleFest, that's pretty dope. Have your pizza.
Yeah, pizza and leather seats. Beer.
Oh,
this is let's do an example here. Go here. Just use your controller to. The only problem is it's a real big pain to set up because you have to set up name through it and all this stuff. It's not easy.
I love that you can hear NBA Jam.
Yeah, you can hear all the sounds.
Yeah.
But that's really the thing. I mean, for me, that's the best thing about virtual reality. That allows you to really enjoy, arcades in a different way. But it's not perfect. It has its issues. And there's a lot of things. There was a lot of work that needed to be put into it to make that function in a positive way. So
see, I think a lot of problems with the virtual stuff is they haven't really made it as good as they need to, where it doesn't make you sick. Because at a time there will be a point where you get you try the virtual reality and you won't get nauseated or anything. They just haven't reached that point yet. I don't know what it has to do if some of this stuff's slow or if it doesn't touch right. You know what I'm saying? There has to be something.
Yeah. And the thing that virtual reality, once it gets to a point where it's indistinguishable from the real world, it'll be over with. Like, people will be spending their lives in virtual reality. When you think about it, if you can eat in virtual reality, if you could play arcade, go to arcades like the one I displayed, but where it's actually feels comparable to the real world.
Yeah, then all the arcades will, they'll go out of business because everybody's.
But aren't they gone anyway? I mean, I mean, even I read the article a couple days ago that Sega is closing down some of their biggest arcades in Japan.
Really?
They've closed down the big, and Sega arcades have been a staple in Japan for decades.
Well, see, here in Texas, we got a lot of retro arcades here, big ones. There's one 10 minutes from my house. It's called Cidercade. You'll have to Google it. They have like 170 original arcade machines in there. from the 80s, 90s, and they're packed every weekend. You pay $10, you can play as long as you want, till open, till close, if you want to. So they're
Wow,
pretty
that's
big.
great. So everything is put on free play, or they give you tokens.
Nope, free play. You pay $10 in the door. They open at 9 a.m. You can stay all the way till 1 or 2 a.m. when they close every night.
So,
or you could pay $30 for a whole month.
So how's your experience when you go there? What kind of games do you play, considering all the ones that you have? Like,
I play games that I haven't played before or haven't played in a long time. They're like super rare that you cannot buy. I mean, they got some games that are from the 80s that and I think like late 70s that are very hard. I forgot what year.
Wow.
But there's this one golf game.
So stuff that you could play on the iArcade, basically.
If it's even on there.
I mean,
there's this golf game. I forgot what it's called, but they have the original one there, and it has a trackball and everything. It's not Golden Tee. It's this other one, and you could see the whole. It's like a putt type game, and you use the trackball. It was the neatest game I've ever seen. But I know the owner that owns all these cidercades, and I asked him, how much is this game worth? And he said this one is like $3,800. I'm like, damn. And we're talking a 40-year-old game
that's insane. Well, actually, though, it's probably a better investment than the pro line of the 1-Up. So I mean,
or you just sell a couple of these and buy it. Sell it to some idiot that's going to spend $4,000 on a damn PlayStation 2 game.
Well, that's what you now is that something you've considered because you're fond of it and you like it? Would it be for sale if you actually wanted to buy it? Could you say
I got connection with this guy that he's there's two owners of Cidercade, right? And there's three of them. There's Cidercade Dallas, Cidercade Austin, and Houston, right? Well, one of the owners, he's the one that owns all the arcade machines. The other partner is actually the owner of the cider company because it's Bishop Cidercade. Okay. So it's a dual partnership. But I know the guy that owns all the arcades. He has 800 original arcade machines. And he said, if you're ever looking for an arcade machine, just let me know the title. I can get it to you. That's where I bought the NBA Jam from him and the Guitar Hero from him. But yeah, any title.
That's probably going to be you. That's probably going to be you when you get your Mortal Kombat 1 and 2.
Yeah, it'll probably be through him. Yeah.
Because those are very hard to come by.
Oh yeah.
Those are super, and they're super expensive now, and that's why you have, and I feel like, for example, like Mortal Kombat 1 is only going to go up in price once the Arcade 1-Up 30th anniversary one comes out because you have the the incorrect artwork on the side. You don't have Johnny Cage, so now you're going to have even more. You're going to have even more people seeking out that tab.
I will say though that Arcade 1-Up has definitely made it where people want the originals too. They buy the Arcade 1-Up and then they're like, man, this is awesome. Maybe I need to buy the original now or find the original.
Like I'm looking at, like I look at you and I look at Retro Ralph and a few others online, and seeing what you guys are doing when it comes to getting original machines. And Ralph is really big into the whole rehabbing aspect of originals, acquiring them to fix them up, to preserve them, and I just think that that's a wonderful thing because they're a part of history. They're a part of and they're not making any more of them, so they're not. It's not like you're gonna they're gonna go down in value.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of having the space and the ability to, you know,
Oh yeah.
it isn't even a matter of money, because in some cases, some of these cabs can get had for less than what you pay for current arcade one-ups.
Yeah, it all depends on the title. You know, if it's a heavy hitter title, you're gonna pay some big money. Because I know my NBA Jam Tournament Edition, I paid $2,100 for that. Because those are more rare than the first NBA Jam. But it also depends, and a lot of people don't understand this. It depends where you live too.
Yeah, yeah.
If you live in some boondonk rinky-dink country, you might buy a Mortal Kombat 2 original arcade for $300 because the demand's not there. But like I tell people, in Texas, a lot of the demand is here, and there's a lot of collectors fighting each other.
So you got a lot of big collectors that you're competing with when you want to get certain titles.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one guy that he runs this other arcade called Free Play here in Texas, and they got 3 locations, right? And I've been to arcade auctions with this guy, and everybody's trying to, you know, get a good price. Dude, this guy, because he got plenty of money, he'll just smoke everybody and overpay just to get the machines for his arcade, you know, business. So it just depends, you know, if you got the money or not. People you know.
Thank you, Mountains of Elysium. Good to see you, man. He says, greetings, ZodWriter and Twisted Gaming TV and fellow nerds. Can't stay long, just dropping by to give the stream a like. Thank you very much, Mountains. Good to see you, bro. I'll see you on the console, the Babylon 5 console on Friday. And we've got Console Fanboys saying, Retro Ralph, Dreamcast, Kyle, Stringer Films, and so many others have transitioned to real arcades. So 3/4 cabs definitely opened the door to the real thing. That's 100% true. We you know, it's almost like we could say that Arcade 1-Up is the gateway for a lot of people into the hobby. Because I know for me, I'm interested in modding now because of people, you know, like Retro Ralph and Console Kits and all these, and B Kong and Bobby Vu. Modding is fascinating to me. So I'll watch videos of people modding stuff and rehabbing stuff and doing stuff like that. I even modded a Mortal Kombat mini arcade machine that I have. The one I have from Play Minimal, I've modded it like 3 or 4 different times, put all sorts of different things in it. I'm having a lot of fun with making modifications. And the thing is all of this stuff comes to mind when you are around people and are following people that are doing this. And I mean, like I said, looking at you, Chris, and the way that you're collecting and the way that you're really, you know, standing up for the hobby and, you know, pushing for real arcade machines. And then but then there's the fact that you're still in the, you know, in the home arcade community. You know, you're not trashing Arcade 1-Up. You're saying, hey, I want to play online too, and I want to, and that's what it is for me. The draw of now being able to play online with a lot of the newer cabinets, and that's really cool. And I think that online feature is going to be what transcends it and makes Arcade 1-Up and some of these other companies even bigger players, but all at the same time while raising demand for the original machines.
Yeah, see, the biggest plus I can say, the biggest positive deal with Arcade 1-Up is they brought the games. They brought the games back. Because if you really think about it, you know, you played Pac-Man, you know, when you were a kid in the arcade on the stupid cocktail table, right? You haven't played that game since, right? Arcade 1-Up brings out, oh my gosh, I remember this 30 years ago. You buy it.
I remember it at Pizza Hut.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the first Arcade 1-Up I got.
But like some of these people, you know, they haven't played Ridge Racer since the PlayStation 1, right? They don't care for that game. They moved on. Arcade 1-Up brings it out. Now you want it. You see what I'm saying? So Arcade 1-Up has brought these arcade games back into people, you know, lives and stuff, you know? So
yeah. And Console Fanboy says, even I started looking for some real cabs, but they're so expensive, $1,500 and up. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. But when you look at the pro line of Arcade One Up, they're getting there. They're starting to compete. It's getting to the point where you're gonna be able to sit here and say, well, gee, I can get the real one for 15, or I can get the fake one for 12. But the fake one plays online, so
but the Arcade One Up is easier to get.
Like you said, you can always
originals.
You can go anywhere,
rare.
get it out, get it online, go walk into the store, pick it up. You're not limited with that. And I mean, what's one title that you don't have that you haven't been able to acquire that you would buy day one if Arcade One Up or some other arcade company were to put it out?
Oh man. It would probably be I'm gonna go with CT Jason. It'd probably be like Daytona, Virtual Cop or something, just for the hell of it, you know. And maybe a Virtual Fighter 2. But I would buy the Virtual Fighter, 2 Arcade One Up until I found the original one, and then I would sell that. You see what I'm saying? Because I did have the first version of the Mortal Kombat 2 Arcade One Up when they brought that one out. You know, remember the first one? I didn't have my Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 yet, so I was playing on the Arcade One Up version. But then when I found that one, then I sold the Arcade One Up version. So yeah.
That's a good way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And particularly, like you said, if you're gonna get a One Up now, the idea is you're gonna get it because you want to play online more than anything else. Not that you're because you're already you're in that realm where you collect real machines. So it's not about whether or not Arcade One Up puts it out for you. If you can get the real one, you're going to get the real one, and the Arcade One Up would be secondary just for playing online.
For the online. The best thing that Arcade One Up ever did, online. I mean that's they really stepped up the game when they made these online and starting to be the standard. Wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they would start dropping off if they didn't go the online route. I really feel that way, because how many times can you buy Pac-Man? How many times can you buy Mortal Kombat? How many times can you buy Street Fighter? At the end of the day, if you're not playing online, there's really no advantage to upgrading to a newer version of the same cab that we've seen over and over again.
And as a business, you got to keep stepping up your game, or because a year ago I was thinking, Arcade One Up, I'll give them a few years and then it's going to be over with, right? And then they shoot you with a surprise. Now we got online play, and boom, then they just keep extending, as they move up.
Right. I was looking for the expiration date when the first Pac-Man came out. I felt like okay, this is cool, but this is another novelty item. This is another fad that we're gonna have, where we're gonna have it for a little while, and then they're gonna be. I mean, they're run by tastemakers, for Christ's sake. So I kind of felt like it was gonna be, a fly by night kind of thing. They'll make the money that they can off of it, and then they'll move on to something else.
Yeah, I honestly thought they when they first came out, with the first 3 machines, I was thinking, they're probably going to do a few machines and then they're going to go on to some other product at Tastemakers. But they lasted this long, and look at us now. So it's like, how many machines have Arcade One Up actually came out with? I don't know.
If somebody has the actual number, put it in the chat of the full number of machines that Arcade One Up has put out, because that is an interesting fact that would be nice to know. Console Fanboy says, I used to think One Up was better because the real ones break, but actually all I've been hearing is One Up's breaking too. That's a great point, because when you buy a One Up, but the good thing about it though is, you buy a One Up and something breaks, it's a little easier to get replacement parts
Yeah.
versus, like, for example, like you got a Mortal Kombat 1 original machine in the tube, and the CRT goes out.
Oh.
You're looking at a lot of money to replace that, where essentially what's the worst thing that can happen with your 1-up? You need a new power supply. You might need, maybe you need a new screen, or you need, nothing that's out of the realm of reality.
Give you another one.
Right. I mean, always my tip for people who buy these home arcades is always buy from a place with a good return policy.
Yeah.
Because when you get these things, if things are going to go wrong with these, what I've noticed is it'll go wrong fairly recently. You won't have to wait too long for something to go wrong if it's faulty in some way. That's why I'm noticing all these people that are having problems with the Killer Instinct cabinet, with the power and just return it. Yeah. Just return it. At this point, you're not. But I think the problem a lot of these people are having is that they ordered it directly from Arcade 1-Up. So now they're it's
a little harder, yeah.
And I would never, and for me, I would never order it directly from Arcade 1-Up.
Yeah, I would order it at Walmart, because Walmart's is such a big company. They don't give a damn if you return or not, because I mean, they make so much money. Who cares?
That's Walmart, Amazon, Target, Best Buy, all these places. You're better off than you would be going directly through Arcade 1-Up. As a matter of fact, I gotta wonder why anybody buys directly from Arcade 1-Up at this point. It seems like it's more difficult to get anything done when you buy it directly through them than it would be if you just, like you said, get your Killer Instinct from Walmart. The marquee is messed up, return it. Period. Yeah. You're good. You're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand, the allure of buying it, because there's really no advantages to buying it through. In actuality, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage when you buy directly from 1-Up, because there's no upside. You can't just turn around and return it tomorrow.
I want to say there was a few people that said that at one point the versions if you bought it from Arcade 1-Up, you saved some kind of money. I don't know if it was shipping or what it was, but somebody told me.
I know 1-Up has free shipping now, but so does Walmart, and so does Amazon, and so does Target, and so does Best Buy. They all have free shipping.
Yeah, now. I don't remember what they were talking about, but it made them buy it, from the Arcade 1-Up website, but I don't know. Yeah, the only one I ever bought from the Arcade 1-Up website was when I bought my my Marvel, when they had this special edition. It was only like 8,000 of them made. The first Marvel superheroes cab.
Was that the one with the upgraded buttons and sticks?
Sand walls, yeah. And you could only get it on there, so I got it at the time, and I kept it
that.
3 months.
I think that's what's going to be the draw. There's going to be certain cabinets that
like
are going to be exclusive, like the Pro Line, to the website.
Yep.
And you did a video on that where you basically said just that the Pro Line will be exclusive to Arcade 1-Up, and that you have to go on their website to get those. Now that I can understand, because I don't expect to see the Killer Instinct Pro Line at Walmart.
No, yeah.
Because here's the thing, once those cabinets get into the hands of Walmarts and Targets and stuff, discounts can be had,
because Walmart has the control to do anything they want. You know what I mean?
Right. $50 for Killer Instinct. Well, they got to get it off the shelf, because they got to make room for the next batch of Arcade 1-Up.
And no company in their right mind, no company will ever go after Walmart, because Walmart will just say, well, we don't want to sell your product then. And then boom, you just lost the biggest
all those impulse buys that they would buy. Grandma's walking around through Walmart and wants to buy her grandchildren an arcade machine. She sees Killer Instinct for $6.99. This looks cute. Okay, but you're not gonna. Killer Instinct or any arcade one-up, I've noticed that those types of prices don't last very long at Walmart. Eventually,
They slash
they slash them, and you get that. You can get that stuff for like half because because they're not keeping them in stock, and they've got to make room for newer machines. So
yeah, because see, when I got my Golden Tee, when it first came out, the first one, it was $500, right? I was so excited to get that arcade one-up machine, and it was before I had my 2021 actual Golden Tee. I think it was like a month later, it was like $349. I was pissed. And then time after that, it was $299. I was like, damn, spent $500, and a month later, $200 or $150 off. It was crazy.
Well, it's like these countercades. Never pay the $279 for these countercades, because these countercades are always going to go down in price at Walmart. You're going to be able to get the countercades for, I think they were as low as $149 at one point. It's like, why would anybody pay full price for that? That's why I say, keep your eyes open, people. If you want Killer Instinct and you don't want to pay $700, wait, because Walmart will have it discounted.
Do you remember when the Cavs went to $50?
$50 for like Ninja Turtles and NBA Jam, and I think somebody even recently got a Simpsons for like $50. And Simpsons hasn't been out for that long. So the fact that you could get it lucky and get $50, you're in good shape.
Dude, that if you got one of those arcade one-ups for $50, dude, that is a steal of a lifetime. You know what I mean? I mean, that's insane. And even the Star Wars, somebody said that they got it for $50 one time.
My God, that's a great deal too. Like,
I mean, I would have bought 100 and then sell it to all the idiots on eBay. I mean, shit.
I mean, it would be worth the investment just to be able to move them.
Yeah, because I forgot what YouTuber, well, maybe it was Console Kits, on one of his live streams, he was showing on eBay of some of the Star Wars arcade one-ups that are still, never open. Hell, there was sold sales for $1,700 for arcade one-up Star Wars. I mean, damn. So if they bring out like, Star Wars trilogy or whatever, I'm going to keep an eye on that price. I'm going to buy like 15 of them, right? Wait a year and bam, $2,000 a piece.
$2,000 a piece. You'll be able to add an extra wing to your shop. It's like, hey, listen, I just doubled the floor of Jason's third floor arcade is Jason's sixth floor arcade. I mean, that's insane. Yeah, that Sega Star Wars trilogy, if they put that out, I think that would sell like hotcakes.
I think it would outsell any arcade any of them probably ever. Oh yeah,
any of them.
Star Wars is such a big name.
Not only that, especially now with the popularity of like all the new Star Wars shows and things that they're doing. Now would be the time to put that out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness. And man, I just gotta say, Chris, this has been amazing. This has just been fantastic. Sitting here geeking out with you, man. I feel like we gotta end the show so that you and I can talk off air for a little while. But I feel like we gotta end the show, because if we don't, we'll just go the whole night. This is so
I can last 7 hours stream.
This is so freaking awesome. And I am going to definitely make it a habit to bring you back on, man. We gotta keep talking. This is a lot of fun, and this has been one of I would have to say, one of the best late night Q&As that I've had. So thank you, Twisted Chris. This is awesome.
You're welcome. Anytime, man.
And for those that like what I'm doing on Friday evening at 9 p.m. Central Time, I'm doing the second episode of my new series, Weekly Comic Book Movies, with my co-host, Ashley the Widow. This week, we'll be talking about Howard the Duck. So on Friday, you're going to want to tune into that. That'll be a fun that's going to be a fun show. And actually, what am I talking about? It is Friday, so that's going to be tonight. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to watch, try to find Howard the Duck and watch it sometime during the day so that I can get ready for that show tonight. But yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it was definitely a good show. Chris, you are an awesome guest. And I know I absolutely love this. Thank you so much for being here. This has been wonderful. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to those who gave super chats tonight. Much appreciated. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And we will be back with more later on. So stay tuned. Good night, everybody. Peace.